Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me here, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
Man, oh man, guys. What a loss against the San Jose Sharks. Honestly, I didn't even think it was possible. We were up 4-1, and there was there was 7 minutes remaining, or like 11 minutes, 10 minutes remaining with a 3-goal lead against the worst team in the NHL.
Eight and a half minutes remaining.
We blew a 3-goal lead with 8.5 minutes remaining at home against the worst team in the NHL. Just when you think you've hit new lows, you find newer lows. But really quick, some housekeeping items there. For those of you who are new to the podcast, new to the channel, welcome. This is a twice a week all sports or all Islanders podcast. My apologies. That takes place every single Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content that we produce, if you like talking to New York Islanders, do a few things there for us. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like the video, right? Because if you like the video, apparently that helps the algorithm. And if you subscribe, that gives you all the updates on the latest content and the latest live streams that we put out and podcasts we produce. So make sure to subscribe on YouTube and like the video. You can find this podcast pretty much anywhere and everywhere you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google Podcast, I think Spotify, all the places you listen to podcasts, you can find the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. One more item of housekeeping I want to go ahead and cover. We do also have a secondary podcast called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. It's a twice a week sports podcast that takes place Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That show is myself, the Grumpy Old Man, and the magnificent Son X talking anything and everything sports. We have a fun time just shooting the shit, talking sports. We talk soccer, we talk hockey, we talk basketball, we talk football, we talk college athletics, we talk baseball, we talk anything and everything sports on that show. If you haven't listened to it before, make sure you give that a little check-see called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. It can be found in the link in the description below or as a featured page here on our YouTube channel. Where you scroll down, it says, check out our other podcast. You'll see TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. But Grump, excellent. Islanders lost against the San Jose Sharks. And a very, I'd say, hard loss to watch for fans, hard loss for me to watch too. Grump, what are your thoughts?
I didn't even start watching the game until the end of the second period. I'm like, well, they're just going to roll over San Jose, right? And then I turned it off. It was 2-1 going into the third period. Then I had something to do, and then so I just started DVRing it. And then 3-1, I get a notification. 4-1, I'm like, oh, this one's over. I said, great. And all of a sudden, 4-2. I said, 4-2. Let me just look at the game. And they're celebrating another goal. So it's 4-3. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then it's the third period malaise, right? 4-4. And then they lose at the San Jose. I can't even express to you how bad San Jose is as a team. They're terrible. It's hard to watch them on the ice. It's hard. It's like they can't complete a pass. Everything's in people's skates. They're a bad team for a reason. The worst team in the league for a reason. And you could see it. Somehow we lost to them. That's a bad loss. I know, all right, we still got a point, okay, if you want to look at the positive, but man, oh man, that's a bad loss. And then you listen to the guys after the game. This is unacceptable. It's a sin. Everyone is like, oh, Thomas Hickey, if he wants to keep his job, he better watch out before he starts spouting realism. Let me just tell you that. He's like, we played well, and then you lost this game. He says, that's the worst loss imaginable. I'm like, oh, boy, watch out what you're saying.
You're going to get Mark Parrish, buddy. You're going to disappear off the Islanders sphere. You better be careful, my friend.
My gosh, and he was hammering it out. He was criticizing, which you never see from. And I'm glad he is. Call it the way it is. Don't try to make excuses. Even Butch says, oh, my God, that's terrible. When they gave up the tying goal, when the Islanders gave up the tying goal, he's like, Oh, that's terrible. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, I think was the words that he used.
It is.
It's a bad loss. That's a bad loss. That's a bad loss.
Here's the thing. I was a little different than you. I watched a little bit of the beginning of the game, and then I was like, okay, the Islanders went up 2-1, and then they went up 3-1 there shortly after. I was like, okay, I just turned the game off. I thought it was over. I'm like, okay, we're going to win this game. This is going to be an automatic W. There's no way we're going to. We went up 4-1. I was like, oh, yeah, shorthanded goal now by Mike Riley, I think put us up 4-1. I'm like, there's no way in hell the Islanders could lose today. San Jose has defensemen like Kyle Burrows. Yeah, you remember Kyle Burrows, the AHL defenseman for the Bridgeport Islanders and the Bridgeport Sound Tigers for years and years. That Kyle Burrows is up there starting with the San Jose Sharks. It's like we found a way to lose. We've been finding ways to lose in very unique ways this season. And also in the games that we win, we're finding very unique ways to win where I think we're outplayed at times. Last night, we outplayed the San Jose Sharks, absolutely dominated them, thoroughly dominated the San Jose Sharks, as you would expect, and lost in overtime. The fact that we gave up 3 goals in the last 8 minutes, we gave up 3 goals with their goalie pulled. I'm sorry, 2 goals. We gave up 2 goals with their goalie pulled. Like, I'm sorry, we've got to do better, have to do better.
Against the lowest scoring team in the league, gave up 3 goals in 8.5 minutes.
Yep.
They just got stagnant defensively. They just went into the shell, and same cast of characters: Anders Lee, Scott Mayfield, Pulak, Romanov, all those guys just shit in the bed. It's like, my God, it's tough to watch. It's hard to watch, and it's in their heads. Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Eventually that stuff kind of creeps in your head, and it absolutely did yesterday.
You give up a 3-goal lead like that, and at this point, I think Lane has to go. I don't think Lane's the problem, though. Let me be very clear with this. Lane Lambert is not the problem. My reasoning for thinking Lane has to go, I think it is in their heads. And unless you do something to seriously jostle the team to get this losing or this, oh, shit, oh, man, they start to grip their sticks a little tight and they find a way to lose at the end, until you get a major jostle that changes that, that's going to continue.
They just get stagnant and stop moving their feet. They just stand around. They're not marking guys. They're low puck watching. It's like, I mean, the only thing Lane could have done would be to call the timeout after it was 4-3. That's the only thing he could have done, really. But you know what? At some point in time, you got to put your finger at the players. It's not the coach all the time. It's the players. I mean, Barry Trotz went through the same thing at the end, right? At some point in time, you have to say this group of players is not. They're mentally weak. Pretty obvious, right? This is not a group of 22-year-olds or 19-year-olds. This is a group. Most of the guys are in their 30s or close to it. They've been around the block. This isn't their first rodeo, right? Let me see how many more cliches I can throw out there. But they're an older team who's been through the battles of the playoffs. They've been through it. This is not a bunch of kids from the AHL getting their first taste of NHL experience. It's not what it is. And that's the thing that's most disturbing to me. They just fall apart. There were some bright highlights to yesterday's game, and they've been bright highlights the whole year, honestly. I mean, Dobson, Horvat, Barzell. That's it. I mean, it's a bad loss. It's a really, really bad loss.
I want to go back to what you're talking about. When does the onus? I always ask the question, when does the onus fall on the players? That's the question I always have. When is it time to start asking, is the player composition we have good enough? I know it's not the fun question. That is not a fun answer when you start going down that path, right? The easy answer is, Lane Lambert throws the wrong guys out there at the end of the game, and that's why we're giving up goals. Anders Lee should never be on the ice when we're out there at the end of the game. Okay, sure. Did Anders Lee affect Scott Mayfield not being able to effectively clear the puck? Does Lane Lambert Does Lane Lambert have any sort of effect on Scott Mayfield's inability to clear the puck that he's always struggled with for years and years and years, even under Barry? He used to throw it up the middle of the ice under Barry. At least he tried to clear it this time along the boards, and they kept it in. It's like, go ahead, Grum.
The second goal, Pulak just makes a bad pass from the side of his net, gets picked up and right in the back of the net. And all San Jose did was park a guy on the edge of the goal. That's all they did. And the Islanders mark him for a while, and then they leave him.
Yep.
I mean, it's like, fellas,
you stay patient. If you stay patient against the Islanders, as long as you're able to keep possession, you will be able to prosper if you stay patient against the Islanders in their defensive zone.
Again, coach, how many coaches been through with these same players, right? Barry Trotz, everyone's a great coach, Barry Trotz. Okay, Barry Trotz, a really, really, really good coach, right? They were doing the same type of stuff with him. They were just tuned him out. Lane Lambert, okay. They didn't have that problem last year. They got it this year big time. At some point in time, you got to point your fingers at the players. What should Lane do? Does he need a guy comes off a ship that need to hit him with a cattle prod? Zzz, hey, wake up out there. I mean, they're just
hey, Scott Mayfield, I'm sitting you the rest of the game. Oh, I didn't like the way you made that pass, Ryan Pulak. We're going to run Samuel Bolduc the rest of the game for major minutes. What options are there?
I mean, Scott Mayfield tackled a guy behind the net.
And overtime, right?
But no, it wasn't even overtime. That led to the fourth goal. He tackles a guy behind the net. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Just stop. So he leaves. Romanov supposedly covering somebody. Lee's over there, and they're just puck watching. The Islanders get stuck puck watching. This is not, like I said, this is not a bunch of mites or a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds. This is a veteran team that's been together a long time.
Yep.
Don't tell me that it's Lane. And now here's the thing. Lane Lambert will be the one who pays the price.
Yes.
But honestly, it's not Lane Lambert. It's the players.
It's more than Lane Lambert. That's the thing. It's more than Lane Lambert. If it was just Lane, I wish it was that easy as just being Lane Lambert. But the unfortunate truth is it's more than him. It really is. Like, you look at the goals against, we've had players struggle, and they continue to struggle. There's only so much that Lane can do. I mean, I don't like the effort that forward A exhibits. We're going to sit him. We're going to sit 2-3 forwards a game. You're going to sit the captain. We've talked about this for a while. Anders Lee should not be the captain. What's your first step of being able to sit somebody? Well, you can't be wearing, it's really tough to sit the captain every single time when he's making mistakes. He's wearing the C on the jersey. We've talked about this 2 years ago. Matt Barzal, when they had a shitty season and finished with 82 points or 80-something points, should have immediately been made captain. The comments he made at the end of the season, postseason, was like he had fire in his heart. He had fire in his eyes. He was driven and motivated. Anders Lee's not. He's just not. He's at a point in his career where that doesn't drive him anymore. He's comfortable. He's never going to be as good as he once was. He knows that. He's limited. He doesn't have the same fire in his belly that he used to have. But it's just that simple. And we talked about what was the best year we ever saw under this Islanders team. I'd say it was close to, if not the year John Tavares left. That was the year when we had the us against them mentality, F the world. We're going to go ahead and prove everybody wrong that no, we weren't just, this team was miserable without John Tavares, and everybody was pulling the right direction. Everybody was motivated. Everybody had revenge on their mind. Oh, we're going to stick it to them. Every single year, it's kind of been slipping a little bit. You can only use revenge as a motivator for so long. Eventually, the motivation has to come from here. It has to come from the pride you take in your work. It has to come from the pride you take in being a professional. And I really wonder what type of pride there is for some of those guys.
I'm not going to say they don't have pride. I'm not going to say that. They're just not talented enough. They're just not. I mean, those are just facts. It's not where they can have a bad night and expect to win a game, unless you're playing third string or AHL or ECHL goalies. I mean, San Jose didn't play their worst goalie yesterday. You want to know why? Because they're a team that's worse than the Islanders. So they're playing their number one. Look at who we play. Schmid. Who the heck was the kid for for Florida, some other ECA.
Whatever the hell his name was. I couldn't even remember. I can't even commit that to memory.
Yeah,
Backup for Anaheim last year, the backup now for Florida.
And you're playing the third string goalie from Carolina. If these teams played their starting goaltender, you're getting beat. You're getting beat. It's just that plain and simple. Have to beat Columbus tomorrow night. Have to beat Columbus. Cannot lose to Columbus.
Sure. I'll ask you this here too, Grumpy, and I'm going to go ahead and dart away for a second. I'll be back in a brief moment here. But we've talked before about the Culdesac Crew and the Culdesac mentality. More and more people, I believe, are kind of subscribing to that thought process that when we lose, it's last night was the first night I could kind of see maybe some genuine concern from the players. And like maybe it's now finally starting to hit them like, oh shit. Maybe we thought maybe deep down there could be an issue, but we just blew a three-goal lead to the San Jose Sharks in 10 minutes time at home. At home. This is at home. You're starting goalie in net against one of the they're right now the worst team in the NHL. This may be the worst. It's safe to assume the San Jose Sharks will be the worst team in the NHL. But what type of impact do you think the Culdesac Crew mentality has on this team, Grump?
Yeah, for me, I mean, we've discussed this numerous times before, but at some point in time, you got to shake it up. Just adding pieces, well, it doesn't break up the core. The core has just been here for over a decade, way too comfortable, right? I mean, it's just it's again, at some point in time, you have to look at the players. It can't be the coach every time. How many more coaching changes you're going to make and you keep the same team coming back? There's a reason why they're bad. You see defensively, you see Pulock out there with Romanov. All of a sudden, Pulock is doing dumb shit. You want to know why? Because he has to cover for Romanov. We've seen that time and time again. Last year, Noah Dobson with Romanov. What happened? Well, Dobson's caught out of position or trying to do too much because Romanov's up ice running somebody into the bench instead of doing what he's paid to do, which is play defense. Romanov is a disaster on this team. I don't care what any of the Lamanites tell you. He is horrid. He is single-handedly responsible for multiple chances going against the Islanders and goals getting scored. He does not play positional hockey. Never has, never will. I find it interesting. And here's the thing. What did I say last year? People have been a long time listeners to this podcast. I said, you watch when Pulock's with him, his play is going to go down. Now, last year, to start when they first went together, Romanov listened a little bit, and he and Pulock were a pretty good pair when they put Dobson with Pelech. But this year, you're seeing, and even the tail end of last year in the playoffs, when those two are together, Pulock is having to do too much. When you have to do too much, you want to know what happens? You get exposed. Now you're seeing that with Pulock. You saw it with Dobson last year. You saw it with Dobson when he played with Chara or when he played with Green or Boychuk. Finally, he's with a partner in Pelech that all of a sudden, hey, Pelech knows where he's supposed to be. So Dobson doesn't have to do too much. He doesn't have to overcompensate for a lame partner out there. That's part of the reason why. And now he's matured up. I don't think anyone here is ripping Noah Dobson. No one is going to be ripping Noah Dobson. He's been tremendous this year. Second leading scorer on the team. Think about that. Second leading scorer on the team.
I want to piggyback off the point you make about defensive partners and how partners work. It's like any position, any sport to where you have to rely upon somebody else to be a successful and cohesive unit. Any team sport. I'll use the analogy of the offensive line. If your job is you're sliding and you're protecting the quarterback's right-hand side, you have to rely that the guy to the left of you and the guy to the right of you are going to be doing the same thing to pick up defensive twists, to pick up whatever the defense is going to throw at you. If you don't feel like the guy around you does a good enough job, you might stick on your block a little too long, which leaves you exposed, which gets you burned. You might go ahead and try to help favor them a little too much, which leads to an inadequacy, and it leads to pressure in the quarterback's face. It's the same thing with the defense in any team sport. It's the same thing for hockey here too. When you feel like your partner is positionally unaware, you're like, holy shit, I know where I would expect Pelech to be. I know where I would expect my partner to be, but this guy, this Romanov, he is all over the place. Who the hell knows what he's going to do. So now I have to feel like I've got to be Superman out there on the ice and do too much, which leaves them the chance to get exposed.
Right.
I have not liked what I've seen from Romanov this year. I've never liked what I've seen from Romanov. It's like, I'm not going to blame him solely for the last goal against, that fourth goal, but he was kind of standing in no man's land, didn't block the passing lane, didn't confront anybody. And I'm like, well, if you're going to stand there, at least block the passing lane or confront the play. I don't know. It was bad all the way around. Miscommunications, and miscommunications across the board led to a goal against.
And that's the way third periods have been all year, right?
Yep.
You mentioned, I remember, Fetisov and Kasatonov playing for the Devils. They played together for years. They knew exactly where they were going to be all the time. And you're 100% right. I mean, like in football, they're calling the line schemes, right?
You're sliding to the right, you're sliding to the left. Let's say, hey, I've got a guy to the outside, but he's blitzing in, and they're going to go ahead and throw a twist, and they're going to have somebody come out wide, or they're going to send a corner to the outside. I have to be able to hand off the guy who's cutting across me to my partner. And I feel like my partner's not there in time. I can't let him go free, because if my partner's not there, the quarterback's going to get killed.
And who's the guy that gets burned in the team meetings?
The guy who has to cover up for the shitty player he's with, because you've got to hand it off to somebody else, and you got a corner flying off the edge. You're like, oh shit, I just didn't get to him in time because I had to hold on to this block too long. Well, if I don't hold on to the block long enough, the other guy gets him killed. You're trying to accomplish a win. You're trying to accomplish success. And when you feel like your partner is not reliable, it's really tough to be successful in that role. It's tough to be successful as a defenseman when you feel like your partner, you can't rely upon them. So, I think Romanov has struggled this year. Our defense in general has struggled. We don't put any pressure. We allow teams to enter our blue line with ease. We don't worry about putting pressure on them there. They have easy zone entries. And when they do that, we get pinned in our own zone. They use their speed, and we are just like caught standing there like totem poles. Hey, let's launch 5 guys in front of the net and hope and pray to God we block a million shots. And that's the way we've been playing all season long, where we are consistently getting outpossessed. We're getting outshot. We're surrendering 35 plus shots a night, and we look just a lesser team. And that's been like that all season long. Last night against the Sharks, it didn't look that way. So I was actually kind of happy about that. I was like, holy shit, we're winning in the shot totals. We're actually having offensive zone time possession. We look dangerous. It's not like we're lucky in finding a few goals here. We look the better team. That's why last night's loss didn't bother me all that much.
We are the better team. San Jose sucks. They're the worst team. They're one of the worst teams in the history of the league.
They're bad.
That's not a game you should lose.
It's disappointing, but it wasn't like I was at least happy with the way we played, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I thought we played well the first, from what I saw. The first, we were dominating the action, certainly in the second period, in the beginning of the third. I'm like I said, this game's over. And that's a bad loss. I think it's a bad loss. And one thing I'll say that you touched on a little bit earlier, this is the first time that I saw Nelson and Lee really pissed in a press conference with the performance. They were pissed. Absolutely were pissed. And Noah Dobson, same thing. He's like, yeah, this just has to stop. And now here's the thing. Was he on the ice for those goals against Noah Dobson? No, he was not. He played, 25, 26 minutes yesterday? He's on the ice all the time. You want to know why? He is our number one defenseman.
Yep.
I don't care. Even when Pelech comes back, Dobson's the Islanders' number one defenseman, and he's shown it this year. Young guy. He's been super sound defensively as well. Maybe he's learned to be a little bit more. Maybe he's learned the nuances of the position a little bit. I believe is because he plays with Pelech. And here's the thing: whoever he's teamed up with now, he was with Romanoff a little bit yesterday, but then they switched. I'm sorry.
I was about to say they're rotating. I feel like he's playing the line share of minutes, and he's playing. If you look at since Pelech's been out injured and had that wrist injury or that arm injury, whatever, the upper body, whatever they classified it as, he's been over there playing with a lot of different partners. And I mean, you talk about the guy who's made a true step. I think you could now put him with shitty partners and it's not going to phase him. That's the type of level of defenseman he's grown into at this point.
Yeah, he's by far, like I said, if you look at the team, you know how I feel. There's only a few guys on the whole team that I'd keep. I'd move everybody else if you could. But, they all have no move clauses. At some point in time, something has to be done. If they want to turn this franchise around. So where are the Islanders right now? They're in the 8th playoff spot. Whoop-de-doo.
Woohoo! Number 8.
And I know it's early. It's early yet. But is this a team that you could feel going into the playoffs? Yep. We can win playoff series. We can win Stanley Cup. No. Because, eventually when you get into playoffs, if we make the playoffs, you're going to be seeing everybody's number 1 goalie every night, not the guy from the AHL. I mean, that's just the long and short of it. And even yesterday, I thought their goalie was okay. But, we could have beat him numerous other times. He made a couple of big saves. I mean, I thought that Sokin played okay. Most of those goals were not his fault. Little deflection going in him in overtime with 4 seconds left. My gosh, how bad is that? Just terrible. But, Dobson hits the post. Barzell hits the post. How many posts did the Islanders hit last night? Sounds like I'm saying the same thing that I said last show against Florida and Carolina. How many posts did they hit? Well, that's what happens when the better team keeps on hitting posts. You give opportunities to the lesser team. And that's what happened in those 2 Islander games. And that's what happened last night with San Jose.
Holy shit. I just now saw this in the comments. I didn't get news of this. Scott Malkin's nearing selling his ownership.
I thought it was just a small percentage.
10%.
I mean, he owns what?
Okay. You don't start selling off ownership. You don't start selling off ownership of, let me put it like this. You don't start selling off ownership of something you expect to continue to increase in value. Oh my God. So I didn't know he did this. So I'll be reading this article here as we're getting this there from Forbes. Oh my God. Yeah. Cause I'm seeing that. Yeah. Look at the comments there. Grumpy Old Man Malkin sold. Yeah. He's starting to sell out. Holy shit. Okay. We'll be talking about that then too.
Absolutely.
Oh God. Jesus Christ. Okay. So that happened there today. Wow. You talk about bad news on top of bad news. Wow. Bad news on top of bad news. But when we get back to the problem with the Islanders, the issue is, I think, player personnel. I think the unfortunate thing is Lou is in a spot to where, go ahead, Grump.
You listen to Lane and he's like, yeah, this is what we talked about this. And we talk about it and they still do the wrong thing. Like I said, you got to blame the players. He's aware of what's going on out there. He's 100% aware and they just can't get it right. It's baffling to me, honestly. Young group, okay, you're going to learn from it, right? Making these mistakes, you learn from it. Older group, shit, it's time to get rid of guys. Time to jettison some of these guys. If they can't follow simple, they know what the defensive structure is at the end of games. They're all just standing straight up and down. They're not putting a body on anyone. They're really not. They're only halfway chasing people, and they're just standing there puck watching. That's a game we never should have lost last night. Never.
Yep. And I just read over it. Yeah. So Malkin Ledecky they had 100%. They're selling, Malkin's selling 10% of his ownership. Here's the thing. He's still majority share owner or shareholder there of the team. So I'll tell you this, we've talked about it ever since Coach Tommy B mentioned that to me. It did make sense, or it sounded like a possibility as to why they're fixated on short-term profit. Because again, if you had the idea of being here long-term, you're concerned about what profits look like in year 5 and year 10 and year 15. So maybe it's more of a short-term play for them. I don't know. 10% is, it's a minority portion there of the team that they sold. But I don't know. Not a good look. It doesn't matter what the hell it looks like, but I usually don't sell something if you're like, this Islanders team with a brand new arena is about to be a real Stanley Cup contender. This team right here is about to see skyrocket in value, so I'm holding on to it. You don't usually sell out of ownership if you feel like, hey, you're getting less than what the actual value is. So I don't know. Take that at what it is. That's as much as we'll cover on that subject. Just odd timing, I guess, and especially for the way the Sharks we lost to the Sharks.
Okay, it's not like they lost to the Sharks and Malkin's cold.
Yeah, no, this has been worse for a long time.
Obviously, it's been the works for quite a while.
Sure.
Maybe it's the other guy who came in, the Morrison guy. Maybe he's selling it to them. I don't know. Right? Remember when somebody come on as like a limited partner or something like that? like a month or so ago. I think his name was Morrison.
I don't know.
But maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, well, we'll sell you 10% of our shares. Be a minority stockholder. I don't know.
Oh, tisk. I like the comments. People are like, is it John Spano buying into the team? This time it finally is happening. But yeah, he sold 10%. We'll see. I think there's a possibility this could be, hey, I'm looking to maybe slowly make myself into more of a minority owner of the team. Who knows? We'll see over time. But getting back to more hockey, right? Because this is not
ownership can't be happy with the direction of the team, can they? I know they trust Lamoriello to do everything, but at some point in time, don't you say, you know what? I don't want him making deals at the deadline anymore. I don't want him in charge of the draft when we only have like 2 or 3 picks in the last couple of rounds. We don't want that anymore. It's tough to sell that to a fan base. Really tough. I think you're seeing the fan base kind of turn a little bit too. Not the Lamanites, of course, but the regular people.
You know what's you know what's funny, Grumpy? We have the 4th worst attendance in the NHL for a brand new arena for a team that, hey, is really fun to watch. 84.7% attendance. The Columbus Blue Jackets have more average attendance than we do.
Well, it's close. It's close.
They still have. What do you mean it's close? They've got 87% of their building full. They have more. They've got one less person who attends with a smaller venue size. I don't know, Grump. Think about how bad some of these teams are. The Anaheim Ducks, higher percentage of individuals go into those games. 84.7% of the arena is full. 4th lowest in the NHL. Puts us. The only teams who have worse attendance than us are the San Jose Sharks, the Winnipeg Jets, the Buffalo Sabres, and the New York Islanders. There the Islanders are.
Yeah, it's not good.
Don't worry though; these numbers will be pumped up once we play our Stadium Series game against MetLife Stadium. So that will add a whole bunch of additional attendance and bump us right up to probably middle of the road, Grump. It's here's the thing: we're not attendance. Are we shocked? No.
What's the bottom line? Fans have stopped going to the game. The novelty of the new arena has worn off.
Yep.
Maybe the price of the food is onerous, and people just don't want to buy it. And then the product is bad. I don't know anyone who would have went to that game yesterday and said, you know what? Okay, we lost. It was a tough one, but you know what? We acquitted ourselves well. And not when you're playing San Jose. I'm sorry.
Tony Chi says, if he's selling Property Brothers t-shirts, I need royalties. Oh, there it is. No, we haven't done anything like that. But I don't know. I'm not reading too much into the sale, but I think it just confirms what my thoughts were from the beginning on this group.
I mean, you just listen to, the Islanders were the quietest 5-1-14 over a 10-game stretch that I've ever seen. I mean, they won 5, lost 1, and lost 4 in overtime before yesterday, right? It's like at some point, and think about it. Did we deserve a lot of those points? No, we didn't. But, points are points. We'll take it. But the whole thing is, how is the team playing? That's an issue. I mean, Pierre Engvall, how many chances is he going to get that he just loses the puck as he's skating in all on himself or shoots it wide? Or
he's Michael Grabner. He's Michael Grabner. I said, for anybody who's like, oh man, Engvall, you're hearing from a lot of people, Engvall has top 6 potential. Oh, Julien Gauthier has top 6 potential. Simon Holmstrom has top 6 potential. Every single forward we have on this team has top 6 potential. I'm at the point where I'm done celebrating bottom 6 guys. I just am. I'm not doing that anymore. I want more for the franchise than to celebrate bottom 6 guys. I just do. Does everybody have top 6 potential on this team? I guess when you ask some fans, they do. But
maybe on this team with this talent level, they have more than 3rd line or 4th line potential. But if on a good team, they're all 3rd liners, maybe even 4th liners. Pierre Engvall was a 3rd liner in Toronto.
Yes.
That was his job. You want to know why? Because he's not good enough to play on a scoring line. Just isn't. Simon Holmstrom, I think he's done a fine job on 3rd line. Absolutely. Tends to hang out at the blue line a lot on the power play, so he gets a break, and I think maybe that's hurt the Islanders. But overall, he's been okay. Got his first 2 assists last night. He's still on a pace for like 33 points or 32 points. Woohoo! Whoop-de-doo, right? Julien Gauthier. Whatever.
Absolutely exciting. Oh, here you are. You're back. Sorry.
Yeah. Phil says, oh, well, he never got a chance. No, he had chances with the Rangers. He had chances. He played against Ottawa. He played with Ottawa. You know what? Ottawa didn't think anything of him. What does it tell you? Ottawa has more talent than we have up front. I mean, Anders Lee back on the first line.
Anders! Woo!
That's where Lane is hamstrung. What can he do? Oliver Wahlstrom.
You could put Julien Gauthier on the first line
because he skates fast. Okay, but he can't finish. All right. Yesterday, he should have put that puck on net, the one that he scored in. Absolutely should have. Do I think that Julien Gauthier sucks? No, but just know what he is. He's a bottom 6 guy.
Yep.
I mean, somehow they all might play on the first line. The Russian roulette. Just throw a new guy out there with Horvat, who I think's been really good, and Barzell. I mean, and just throw anybody on that line.
You know what it reminds me of? We were so devoid of talent where we had to put Leo Komarov on our first line as a left wing for, 20, 30 games. And, one year we had to put Travis Zajac on our first line. Like that does that, like with Barry Trotz, there's only so much he can do at that point. We said, well, give Wahlstrom a chance. Why not? Coaches didn't. Maybe they see something we don't. I don't know. I still feel like this year the shot he's been given is not adequate, but it is what it is at this point. He's a guy who, if Lou is still in charge, he'll be traded at the deadline. If he has any value, that and a first round pick will be gone at this year's trade deadline. And we're going to continue to further dig ourselves into a pit.
Yeah. I mean, 100% agree. Obviously Wahlstrom's, he's the guy who's out. Boy, talk about mismanaging an asset. They do it. Lou Lamoriello does that with the best of them. He mismanages assets. How many guys does he wait until they play out their string and then he lets them go? Instead of moving them when they have some value, he runs them into the ground and then they have no value, no upside as far as other teams think, well, gosh, look at how terrible they are at the Islanders. Instead of showcasing a guy, he gets the least amount of return that he can possibly get. All the young guys are just throw-ins. That's what it winds up being. Just frustrating.
I agree. It's frustrating. It's like again, like we mentioned, I talked about this Saturday when we were winning games, but we were getting outshot 3-1. I'm just like, I'm not enjoying. Was that Grump?
You hit the nail right on the head the other day. Right on the head.
Yeah, and it's just like I watch sports to be entertained. How do I reach entertainment? Well, I love to watch brilliance. I love to watch magic. I love to watch something that's hard to replicate. That's what I like to do. I like to watch our team win. Well, when you're not winning games, right? Overtime losses, despite us getting 1 point in the column, still feel like a loss to me because we lose. So I don't necessarily enjoy overtime losses. I don't enjoy those 1 point games. I don't enjoy losses in regulation. We're losing more games than we're winning. And we're not playing entertaining hockey. We're getting dominated. I mean, like anytime you're giving up 35, 36 shots a night and you're right there with San Jose, that's some of the worst production you can expect here from a team.
We gave up over 30 shots against San Jose. They take the least shots of any team in the league. It was over 30 shots, 33, 34, whatever it was.
I know it went to overtime, but we give up 33 or 34 shots against San Jose?
Yeah.
Holy shit, guys. Wow.
I mean, that's just...
I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah, that's just how bad it's been.
Holy shit. That's awful.
It's just not conducive to winning hockey. It just isn't.
The one thing I'll say here, as we're about to jump into our ad read, I do want to make an announcement, I guess, on the show. This February will be, I don't know if we'll be taking a hiatus, but we'll be taking probably less time on the show or maybe cutting back on the show time. No, and I want to make this, the reason I'm addressing this now is because I don't want people to think it's because of the poor Islanders play, that, oh, they're not having the show as often, or, hey, the Islanders have rebounded. That's why they're not having the show often, because they don't want some humble pie. We're going to be taking, I assume, some time off. We're having less shows coming up. The lovely Paige, and I are expecting a little future Islander fan here on the way. So we'll be out in come on, cat. We'll be out here in February, or I'm sorry, so late February, maybe some in early March. When is the trade deadline?
Don't know. But long story short,
we'll be having less shows or less time, and we're still going to be here. We're not going anywhere. Don't think that it's because of the circumstance of what's happening with the team is why that happens. There's other things going on in life, which is the reason why that will occur. So,
just to let you know, by the way, super excited. By the way, going to be a grandparent. Super excited about that. So I've known for quite a while though. So.
This is Grumpy. This is the first time we're letting Grumpy know. Congratulations, Grumpy. You're going to be a grandparent now.
Yes, I know. So here's the thing. It was 42 shots on Sokin last night. 42.
Are you serious?
San Jose wound up outshooting us 42 to 43.
We gave up 42 shots to San Jose?
Yeah. 43 shots for the Islanders, 42 for San Jose. Not good. You gave up that many shots to the worst team in the league. The worst team in what? The last 30 years, 40 years, 50
at
years?
Least the last decade. This is the worst team in the last decade. I mean, Kyle Burrows is in their starting defensive core.
It's a brutal loss. It's a brutal loss. I mean,
yes.
I don't know if you could pull up the schedule because we're on a 6-game homestand right now.
Well, let me read to that. Let me read the ad first, and then we'll get into that. But I just wanted to make that statement there. Just wanted to let you guys know I don't know what's going to happen exactly regarding the podcast, how frequent we'll have shows, how long they'll be, but there are going to be some changes there on the horizon. We got a future Islander fan. Hopefully our little child will be able to see an Islanders championship before they graduate college. Wouldn't that be nice, Grumpy? 20 years down the road?
Yeah, would be nice.
But today we do have an ad to read from DraftKings. Bet the action on the ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. We've talked about DraftKings before. They offer a lot of great options there. Same game parlays, great odds, fantastic. You can pretty much bet on anything sports related on DraftKings. And for hockey, right? You could easily, I'd say at this point, take the over on shots against or shots faced for the Islanders, and I'd feel pretty confident every single night that you could win that one. With how many shots we're giving up on average, when you give up 42 shots against the San Jose Sharks, I'd say that, I'm not expecting us to give up 30 or less shots anytime soon. You could add same-game parlays. You could say that, and I'm expecting Anders Lee to come away with no goals and no assists, 0 points on the game. That's also a likelihood and a possibility there with a high chance. You can add a lot of these same-game parlays together to get an even larger payout there. It's fun. If you enjoy sports gambling, you got to do so on DraftKings, right? They do a great job, DraftKings Sportsbook. But download the app now and use the promo code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. Again, that's promo code THPN, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net, or in New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available if you have a gambling problem. If you call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of the Boot Hill Casino and Resorts. Must be 21 years or older, but age varies by jurisdiction. It's void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility, deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. The NHL, so to bet on the NHL. So thank you, Grumpy. A little DraftKings ad out the way here. And now I think X is now going to get here and start starring comments now. He's got a lot of comments to start. I think I just got a text from him there that he'll be starting some comments. So now's your time to start showering Son X with love and adoration so he gets all your comments. You get all your comments starred. Matthew DiBernardo says here, fire everyone. Strip Anders of the Sea and start transitioning. This team is cooked.
Okay. You know what, though? It's almost impossible to do because the old man hands out no trade clauses and no move clauses like they're freaking Tic Tacs. So a lot of these guys you're just stuck with them until their late 30s. That's a problem. That's where the old man's lost it the most.
Who at this point would take on 6 more years of Scott Mayfield? And I like Scott Mayfield, but what team would say, sign me up for 6 years of Scott Mayfield, who's already, I'd say, a lackluster skater at this point? I'd assume not many, right, Grump? You know, how many teams you think would be in a spot where they'd say, yeah, sign me up for 6 more years of Pelican Pulak or whatever that is. I think 6 years left.
7.
Sign me up for 7 years left. My God. Sign me up for 7 years for Pierre Engvall. Sign me up. The longer we let Lou Lamoriello stay at the helm,
the worse it gets.
The worse the damage will be. It's that simple. It's that simple. People feel the same way about Lane Lambert as coach. Sure, that can be true. It's the same thing with their general manager at this point. The longer we leave him in, the worse it'll be. Goon, grumpy old man.
I guess the Islanders felt left out in the crappiest sports team in New York sweepstakes last night and wanted to get it on the fun. I don't think that the Islanders are close to the worst team on the New York sports teams.
They're not. They're just average.
Yeah. I mean, certainly the Jets and the Giants are worse. So, is what it is. But here's the thing. Pretty safe to say the Rangers are better than us this year.
For certain. Hey, the Rangers aren't finishing 4th and we're not finishing 3rd, okay? The Rangers are a better team than us, just like we had thought just going into the season. Drew, make sure to message me in the DMs and I'll let you know what the setup looks like that I have here. Adam P says here, the Culdesac land grab crew is in full effect.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That's why it's just malaise. And here's the thing. We come out and occasionally play well. Like I said, I think Bo Horvat, even though you don't like him, TJ, I think he's played well
this year. He's played well this year.
Barzell,
I don't like him. I don't like the contract he got. I think he misses in big opportunities, but I think he's played well this year.
And Barzell's been lights out all year.
Bo Horvat is far from the problem on this team. How about that? Right? I don't think he's the solution. I think he's far from the problem, though. I think that is about as accurate as I can describe Bo Horvat. I've liked what he's done this year, right? To show that I'm fair, right? I'm not a fan of the Bo Horvat trade. I still think we gave up a little much. But that being said, guess what? He is playing his ass off right now. I like what I've seen from him this season. I have.
He's tied for second in goal scoring on the Islanders with Barzell and Simon Holmstrom. They have 7 goals.
Wow. Matthew, I said, good evening, gents. This organization is a joke.
Ouch.
Frank K., grumpy old man.
I love how some people are parroting what I said about Malkin from 6 years ago, that he's all about the real estate, then will bolt once everything is built. I got cursed out endlessly. This guy's a joke. He used the Islanders to get his real estate. It was never for the Islanders. It was about concerts and other entertainment.
Here's the thing, though. Both could be mutually positive for the Islanders, though. We had a Charles Wang, God rest his soul, was not a good owner. We could still have Charles Wang. We could still be barely meeting the salary cap floor. When we got this new ownership group, when they brought Lou Lamoriello in, it automatically added legitimacy to the Islanders. It did.
I mean, was Charles Wang a great owner? No. But without him, the Islanders are not on Long Island anymore.
That's true.
He single-handedly, by buying the team, kept the team on Long Island. Without him, they'd be gone.
Yep. I
mean, did he have the guys operate on shoestring budgets? Absolutely did. But he kept the franchise in town. And that's the thing. You always have, nothing is ever all good or all bad, right? Nothing.
Yes. Good and bad with everything.
Right. Charles Wang, he didn't know anything about hockey. But he believed in keeping the team on Long Island. And that's what made his tenure a success. Without them, all the people who we love on this podcast, all the people who comment in, all the Islander fans, they wouldn't be rooting for anyone right now because the team would have been gone. So he still gets kudos for keeping the team on Long Island. These guys, they elevated the process, got a new stadium built. Kind of is what it is. I mean, they're not the worst owners in the league. You could say the one thing that they're bad at is they just handed the keys over to the old man.
I think the reason they did that is because it immediately made us a contender, and it did. It added legitimacy to the team. It added legitimacy to the organization. And he maybe here's the thing. I think Lou doesn't need much convincing here, but maybe Lou's under orders to say, make this team as profitable as it can be in the short term.
I don't think so.
I would say probably not, but I'm like, I think Lou wants it that way, and I'm sure ownership with the moves they've made don't mind that being the case either if it forfeits future success. So maybe it's a top down. Fish rots from the head. We always talk about that. Goon, grumpy old man.
Lazy Lambert deserves to be shown the door, but I'm sure Lou will keep him due to the thinking. If the season ended today, we'd be close to the playoffs, a mark of true mediocrity or stupidity. What do you think, TJ?
I don't know.
I don't think he's the problem. Can you get somebody else in here to give them a little bump? Maybe. But what type of coach you looking for? Defensive coach, like the guy who was let go in Minnesota? Offensive coach? Or are you going to swing for the fences and try to bring in Joel Quenneville? I mean, to me, Quenneville's the only guy who can turn this around. But again, I'm sure there's a lot of players on this team that Quenneville or anyone would want to get rid of. But they're stuck with them because of the no trade clauses and the no move clauses that he has on here. At some point in time, I don't. Does no one want to play for the Islanders? Is that the only way you can get guys to re-sign contracts? Or are you just so scared that they'll leave when you pick up a rental that you figure you got to offer the moon? Because that's what it seems like to me.
It's sad. It's pathetic. We have the new arena. We play in New York. It's not like it's a small market. Like, oh man, we got to convince people to come to Columbus, Ohio. That's not the case.
I just hate it. I just hate it when the Islanders have always viewed themselves as a small market team.
Same thing the Mets do. Same thing the Mets always did.
Yeah, it's like you're not a small market team. You're just not. You play in the sports capital of the world, New York. It's not like you're up in Buffalo either.
Yeah. Joseph C., grumpy old man.
San Jose might blow, but they played all three metro area teams really hard this past week. I guess they have the right coach, right? And I think the Islanders played hard. I just think they go.
It's College Quinn. College Quinn's their coach, by the way.
Well, he fits there. But I mean, it's just like the Islanders have brain lock at some point in time. It's like they forget how to play the game in the third period. And then, that whatever self-fulfilling prophecy, you give up a goal, it's like, oh no. And then they just get more and more tight, and it is what it is. JP says, I would love it if they must fire Lane. I really would love to see that old ferret-faced effer to take over behind the bench. Let him try to squeeze some juice out of this raisin.
JP is a little upset. There's a lot of upset fans right now, though, and understandably so. I don't think it's as simple as the coach, but at this point, Coach Lane has to go, right? Like you're the sacrifice, my friend. The team is losing a lot of games late. Is it easy to point at every single decision and contract that's signed and say all of those are wrong? Or is it easy to point at the coach and say, oh, we haven't had this problem before. It's the coach's fault. That's who it is. Has nothing to do with the players on the team. It's all the coach. It has nothing to do with the fact that, the veterans who are 10-year vets in the league, well, it's not their fault. I don't know. Goon grumpy.
Okay. Yeah, my thing just went out here a little bit. I don't see the comment. Okay, here we go. Goon says, it's quite clear that Varlamov should be the starter for a while and let Sorokin sit on the bench and pull the pud. But, of course, Lambert has his head too far up his butt to notice this. Okay, we're seeing these things where somehow Sorokin is the reason why we're losing games.
Oh, I've been seeing that a lot, too.
It is the most ridiculous thing that anyone can say. He's getting peppered out there. The defense is leaving guys wide open on the side of the net. That's not Sorokin's fault. What I said, you remember what I said in preseason? For the Islanders to make the playoffs, Sorokin has to be Vezina Trophy quality. I said, if he's not, We're not making the playoffs. That's how dependent we are on Ilya Sorokin. You put Varlamov in net, you're seeing the same results that you're seeing with Sorokin. Has Sorokin been as good as last year? Probably not. But the high danger scoring chances that the other team has is way up this year from last year. Every year for a goal, right? Shesterkin last year, oh my gosh, he's been terrible. His numbers were still good, but he wasn't what he was like all world the year before. It happens. That's what you see from goaltenders. Some days, some years they're really, really good. Some days they're a little bit down. This is a little bit down of a year for Sorokin, but don't tell me that Varlamov is going to come in and set the world on fire. He benefits from playing the worst teams in the league. He played in the second half of back-to-backs, or maybe whoever the easiest opponent is, that's who Varlamov's going to be playing against.
Varley is not the answer. Okay. Sorokin, has he been as good as last year? No. Last year, he had the highest saves above expected in the history since they started tracking that metric. So, is he going to be as good as the best goalie making fantastic saves over what was expected since they started tracking that metric, what was it, 10, 15 years ago, whatever it's been? Well, probably not. Is he that currently? No, he's not. He's still playing fantastic hockey. He's not. What is he going to do if the puck is deflected point blank? Is he expected to save all those? When William Eklund was standing at the side of the net unmarked, are we expecting him to make these crazy split saves every single time an opportunity presents itself like that? Probably not. Look around the league and watch some of the goalies that play around the league. The goaltending is shitty. He is a fantastic netminder. He occasionally lets a weak one every once in a while. What fantastic goalie doesn't? The goalie's not the issue. We're bottom 6 in the NHL in scoring, or bottom 5, wherever we are. Bottom 5, bottom 6 in the NHL in goal scoring. That's where your problem lies. We're giving up a lot more goals because our penalty kill has been shitty. We're giving up goals, doesn't matter who's in net, and we're not scoring enough. That's the problem. Been that way for a while.
We are 4th in the Washington has less goals for. San Jose has 52 in 26 games. Chicago, 59. We have 69. We're 4th lowest scoring team in the league.
Yikes. Ariel Wood, Grumpy says, I miss you guys. I hope all is well. I miss you too, Ariel. Yes. I like her last name being Wood. It makes it easier for me to pronounce, Grumpy.
I just want to know if Ariel has been converted into a Ranger fan.
I don't know, Grumpy. That's a good question.
I just know. I know.
Please, Grumpy old man.
Tony says, I was homesick from both my jobs, and it was the first game I could watch since they're on the West Coast. Great couple of days for Daddy Tony.
Oh, there it is. Daddy Tony Cheese there. Joseph C., grumpy old man.
I mean, like there were Islander fans booing when the score became 4-3, like they knew San Jose was going to tie it and win it. Well, yeah, because you know what? It's like, oh, seen this movie before.
Yep.
It ends the same way. I don't know how you fall apart against San Jose. Just don't know.
Scott Harris.
He says, Scott Harris says, I am finally on board with Lane must go. We keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Why not get some faster guys out when we are down a man to put pressure on the opposing team?
Faster is not always better. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, it has nothing to do with the speed at which our forwards are playing at this point. It doesn't. At the end of the game, all game long, when we get hemmed in our own zone, look at what we do. We collapse 5 guys around the net. We never put any pressure on. Simple as that. That's the style that we're playing at the moment. Bend, don't break. We've been doing a whole hell of a lot of breaking at the tail end and not a lot of bending.
Terrible.
Ariel says here, Lee on the 5v6 was brutal, and we have Mayfield for the next 7 years. Yikes.
Now, we've talked about this. Why is Anders Lee out there? He's the worst skater on the team. Are they just looking to get him to fatten up his goal total? I know he's got 8 points through 24 games. That's impressive. But he's got 5 goals. I don't understand that. I don't know who who's out there in the 5-on-6, but honestly, I don't want Holmstrom out there. To me, he's always at the blue line looking for a breakout. That means he's not. You need to be a little bit better than that. You need to be back. But here's the thing: can't be late. I mean, does Engvall play in that situation? I would play Engvall in that situation. Absolutely. He knows, as a career third liner, he knows what he's supposed to do in those situations. Casey, Clutterbuck, JG Pajot. Those are the guys who should be out there in those situations. Why? Because they got a little bit of grit. They know how to play defense. You can't have Romanov out there at the end. Can't have Scott Mayfield out there either. You got to have Dobson out there. You got to have Pulak. I mean, I know they play the same side, but you got to have somebody else out there. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but somehow Dobson has to play on his offside to, play with somebody else. Why? Because he's your best defenseman. That's why. He's been tremendous this year. Sorry.
There's a lot of good. There is a few bright spots.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is the light is going to be so blindingly bright because it's going to be so dark around them. I think that's what we're worried about. It's like what it's going to be is like you walk out of you've been in a cave for years and you look out there. That's how bright the moon's going to be when you look at Dobson, you look at Barzal, you look at Horvat, you look at Sorokin. Those are going to be the only guys who offer any sort of relief. And it's going to be blinding for us. But the unfortunate thing is it's still going to be pitch dark outside, pitch black.
And Nelson's been okay this year. Nothing special. Palmieri's been invisible. Absolutely invisible.
Thank God we have him for another few years.
And the fourth line kind of is what it is, right?
I'd say.
I mean, a lot of work needs to be done with this team. But again, you're hamstrung with the no trade clauses, modified no trade clauses. Just give me your list and then ship them somewhere else. The problem is with the salary cap, tough to move those guys without having to give up assets. That's part of the problem. That's why you don't sign guys who are 30 years old to long-term deals. How long have I been saying that? How many years have I been saying that? Don't sign your own guys to long-term deals once they hit 30. Let them go. You want a 1 or a 2 year deal? Okay. No move clauses are out. No trade clauses out. You want to know why they insist on the no trade clause? Because then they can just live in the cul-de-sac for the rest of their careers. That's why they do it. They don't want to be uncomfortable by going somewhere else. Doesn't happen. They want to all stick together. That's why the team isn't any good. Everyone's buddy like the beer league. Not good enough. You should be wanting to win a Stanley Cup, not having a barbecue in Josh Bailey's backyard every weekend. That's not what you want. You should be wanting to win a Stanley Cup.
Got here a few more comments there. Ariel Wood, grumpy old man, says, imagine if Lou bought Malkin's percentage. Oh, God.
That's not happening. He doesn't have that kind of money.
Dobson has been fantastic after the first game of the season. Foot in mouth for me.
You know what? I'm going to give kudos to Ariel because, yes, I do. I wasn't going to bury her because I like her. But now that she brought it up, that's right, Ariel. But where did you hear it first about Dobson? Right here.
Yep, absolutely. Deidre C said here, my question is, when do they bench Mayfield?
Never. Absolutely never. You don't sign a guy to a 7-year extension in his 31-year age. You're not going to bench him, particularly not with the injuries.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately.
Right? But here's the thing. Think about how good I love Scott Mayfield. Everyone knows it. I'm a honk for Scott Mayfield. How is that contract going to age? How is the Engvall contract going to how's that going to look in a few years? And well, you're seeing it. You're seeing Anders Lee and how his contract played out. So I was steadfast against signing him. That was the worst deal ever. But now you got Mayfield, Engvall, Varlamov. I mean, yeah, Varlamov's been okay as a backup. You think he's getting any better? You think he's going to be better when he's 36, 37, 38, 39? Probably not. Probably not. Scott Levy says, after that sick, pathetic loss yesterday, the sad part is Lou and Lane are still employed. Well, that's what happens when your ownership group just takes a laissez-faire approach and gives the old man total control over the operation. I almost wish George Steinbrenner would own this team.
Well, I think this is a good one. Frank K says, as long as Lou is here, no real coach is coming here. Only puppets for Lou. Malkin blows more than anyone.
True.
I wonder if that's going to inhibit potential coaching candidates. Lou is a guy who's very hands-on. We talked about last year or the last year of Barry, the issue with who the hell was it? It's so many years ago now. The Russian fella, not Jan Kovar, but which guy was it who was supposed to? Anatoly Golashev. The list goes on and on with the Russian players in the KHL that we're supposed to bring over that's supposed to be fantastic and help the team that never pan out. Anatoly Golashev. He was supposed to be dressed, and they had like a little bit of the issue there where Barry said he was going to dress him and then didn't. I think at the end that definitely did not help Barry's job security.
Yeah.
The issues in the fighting in-house that they were having. Got a comment here from Scott L. Grumpy old man. Oh, sorry. Drew or Brett W. Grumpy.
The Islanders are embarrassing. Firing Lane, I'm not sure even fixes the problem. It's the overall team Lee put together. Bingo. That is it in a nutshell. That's in a nutshell. As we said 2 years ago when they fired Trotz, everything from here on out is about Lou Lamoriello. Everything. All he does is keep double down on suck. Maybe you squeak into the playoffs and they get rolled in the first line against a backup goalie and 3 of their top 6 forwards out. Maybe that happens this year too. Drew says the Islanders in the third period are like when teams play prevent defense against Tom Brady, they always get burnt. Absolutely.
Got here for Doug Asgrump.
Wanted to respond to my point about the Rays and the Yankees, small market or not. Some fan bases are in denial that their team has to rebuild or have losing seasons. Deal with it. Accept it. Part 1.
Oh, X. Did you star the rest of the ones by Doug or just one? Fucking X over here. Rick Roma Grump.
Dobson wasn't on the ice for any regulation goals, but he did make a horrible centering pass to a Shark that led to the game-winning goal. I think he hit the post, I think is what happened. It doesn't matter. They were all gassed. Everybody on that, at the end of that, they were all freaking gassed. Every single Barzell couldn't even catch up to the guy coming. He was so toasted. He'd been out there for I don't know how long. And then Nelson didn't know what the hell he was doing either. It was a bad goal. It was what it was, right? Did we deserve to win? Absolutely. Did we deserve to win against Carolina, Florida? Absolutely not. Yep. So, like TJ mentioned, Saturday night, I didn't think it'd be this quick. Saturday night, he says, sometimes you beat teams when you get outplayed and dominated, but there are going to be games where you play a lesser team and you dominate them and you lose. And you were prophetic with last night's game.
It's all about averages. It's all about how that works. Dominated a few games in a row. We're gonna have a few more games where we dominate. And like, how the hell did we not come away with a point or 2 points there? We deserve that. But guess what? The remainder of the season, we're gonna win a whole bunch of games that we're probably undeserving to beat the win too. So just kind of how it works.
Goom says, has there ever been an NHL team more ineffective at clearing the puck from their own end as the 2023 Islanders? Did you watch San Jose last night? They couldn't clear the damn puck either. They kept turning it over and over again. It was a tough game to watch. They're bad. All right. As bad as the Islanders were and how they look, San Jose is 1,000 times worse than the Islanders. I was stunned they lost to them. John S. says, Brock Nelson is a C.
For captain.
No, absolutely not. No freaking way. No way. Barzell has to be your captain. Barzell should already be captain. Is there a way to get rid of Anders Lee? Is there a way to, Palmieri's only got a couple of years left, but the whole thing is we keep doubling down by signing guys to big extensions. It's it's terrible. Got to take away the power. They need to move the old man. The team's not getting any better until the old man is gone. That much you can just take that one to the bank.
Tony Cheese says, I'll have to make a new map for the Culdesac Crew. Absolutely. Yeah. We need an updated map there, Tony Cheese. Matthew S. Grumpy.
Did you guys see the stat about the number of times each player was on the ice for the tying goal this year? I did not see that.
if somebody sends that, apparently it was done by Stefan Rosner. Let me know if that, because if it's behind a paywall, I won't get access. So maybe Gross is behind the paywall. I don't remember who's behind and who's not, but somebody send me the article or send me a snippet of the article so we can talk about it if it's behind a paywall.
Drew
Stefan
says,
will understand. We're cool like that.
Drew says there's a chance change might finally start to happen. This is amazing. Even if it's small, it's going to start a ripple effect. Good on my property brother. Here's the thing. Unless fans stop going, you're not going to see change. You're not.
I do agree with that.
I
You
mean,
don't see average unless people stop going.
They still average over 15,000 fans a game. That's a win-win. You know, they make money off the concessions. So that, as long as they keep, and now if people stop going or they're booing everything, then maybe something happens. But until that, nothing's going to change. My Little Brownie says the Sharks were laughing while the fans booed. Every single person associated with this team, from ownership to valet parking, should be embarrassed by last night's game. My Little Brownie, I kind of agree with you a little bit, but I'll tell you what, the valet parking guys have absolutely nothing to do with the hockey product.
Got a comment here from My Little Brownie. Says here,
save yourselves. Come over to my side, the side that knows this team is jagtastic.
I like it. My Little Brownie. Goon Grumpy.
TJ, it's not necessarily true. Selling a pro sports team because you don't believe in it. That douche Wilpon mercifully finally sold the Mets because he was getting long in the tooth. If you're selling the team, you don't give a shit if you own it.
Like, let me ask you this. Like, for how old was Wilpon when he sold?
I
think age matters too. Yeah. How old is Scott Malkin?
I don't think he's that old.
How about 64?
Yeah, it's not that old.
I don't know.
That's absolutely not that old. I know how old I am. That's not that old.
I think 64 is ancient. I think that's when you start getting in an age where you can start being called the grumpy old man.
No.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Justin Gent.
Had seats behind the bench last night. Lambert was just shaking his head the whole night. Looked like he knows he's getting fired. Just looked defeated. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Don't tell me that, he goes out there and he's teaching.
Barry was doing a lot of shaking his head the last season too, if you remember. Yeah. A lot of just shaking his fucking head because he's like, I've done anything and everything I can to try to get the team motivated, to try to get the team firing in the right direction. It just doesn't work. Maybe Lane's already there and it's only year 2.
And think about it. What was it, a year and a half ago, where Lou went down there on the ice and he saw the guys really listen to Lane Lambert. Yep, that's why I didn't do a coaching search. The guys really follow him. And a year and a half later, they don't. It's the players. It's absolutely the players. But the whole thing is, you can't even say, like Tortorella goes in there and says, you're out, you're out, you're out, you're out. Just cuts ties with all of those guys, does whatever you can do to get rid of them. I don't think we have anybody who's willing to do that.
Nope.
It's a shame.
No, absolutely not. JK, grumpy old man.
Oh boy, can't wait to hear what Grumpy has to say tonight. Yeah,
Grumpy.
I mean, it's the worst loss. That's going to be the worst loss of the year. I firmly
think.
Yeah, you can't lose San Jose with a 3-goal lead with 8.5 minutes to go. You at home and you lose to the worst team probably since the Washington Capitals in 1971 or 73, whatever the hell year was, where they had 8 wins the whole season. This team is bad. If you watch last night's game, it's like, holy crap. When I was watching that game, the little bit that I saw until I watched, the later stuff is, how is this an NHL team? They're terrible. It's a shame they didn't get Connor Bedard last year.
I was about to say, there was no way in hell they were going to give Bedard to them. It was only going to be a big market team. I firmly believe that was fixed. No doubt in my mind. Sorry, you can't convince me otherwise. But San Jose was another team. If you look back at the history of the San Jose Sharks, San Jose was a team that started signing a lot of their players they thought were very valuable to long-term contracts, i.e. Brent Burns, i.e. Erik Karlsson, i.e. Evander Kane, i.e. Mark Eduardo Vlasic, i.e. Logan Couturier. the list goes on and on and on and on about the guys they thought on their team that were good enough. They started signing the long-term contracts. They were trading away first-round pick after first-round pick. And eventually, the chickens came home to roost. And what resulted? Having to trade away every single asset tradable on that team and bottoming out where you guys have guys like Kyle Burrows as your defenseman. That's what happens.
Here's the difference. They came off a Stanley Cup final run. What are we coming off of? Nothing. Making the playoffs. We've done it for years and years and years, right? Eventually you have to. I told you it was over after that second Stanley, the semifinals, after the second Eastern Conference final. I said, they need to blow this team up now. Remember? As soon as it happened, I said, this team's never going to do anything. They were, first of all, they were never beating Tampa. Steadfast at that. But at some point, then they made no changes in the offseason. You need to change your group. You have to get rid of the older guys, bring in the younger guys who are more affordable. And our team just wasn't that good. They played well together. They had heart. They had guts. They hustled. That shit's gone now. It's gone. Got a couple of guys who give their all every night. Just a few.
Yep. It was at least nice to see the guys a little pissed off. You see him cutting up and smiling 5-10 minutes after they just lost a game. I'm like, I want my team to be freaking pissed off when they're losing. I want my team to love this team as much as I do. I want my players to have as much success as I do, where I'm freaking pissed. I'm seething. I want my players to be freaking upset. I want them to freaking feel the same exact passion the fans do. That's what I want from the players on my team. Not just like, we're collecting a paycheck. We want to win because we want to fight for the guys in the group. But if we don't, well, it happens.
Yeah. Like I said, last night was the first time that I saw actual anger from
Nelson
and Lee. Personally.
I like that. So, like, even though shit was so bad last night, there's a few things I liked. Who would figure we'd be pointing out positives after last night's game? Who would figure that, Grumpy? There are positives to take away. And I think those are absolutely positives and can be positives there.
Yep.
John Smith. John Smith, Robbie.
John Smith says, we got most of these losers for years. Buckle up, boys. Shit's getting bumpy. Absolutely. We still had a chance last year to do what I've been suggesting for the last 3 years. Don't re-sign your own guys. Give them, this is your offer, 1 or 2 years. If you like it here bad enough, you'll stay. I'm not giving you no trade, no move clauses. If you want to leave, go ahead. You can even overpay a little bit to keep them, but you're giving the hammer to the players, which is just dumb. General manager's dumb when they do stuff like that. Just dumb. Lou Lamoriello is dumb.
Deidre Seager.
The freaking rocks. Deidre says it's definitely mental at this point, but Lane is not coaching the team right. Players are not responding, and Lane really looked that his time will be done soon. It's got to be frustrating for him because you know that he's going over these things in practice. You know he is. And it's like they just fall apart. It's like, gee, again? And it's a veteran team. That's what makes it the worst, is it's a veteran team. Next comment from Rick Roma says, does Sokin take any blame for this mess? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The high danger chances that we're hemorrhaging is just really that's on the forward group coming back from the defense. It's that we're just not a good team right now. And Sokin hasn't been, Vezina Trophy quality this year. He's had a number of games where he makes a lot of big saves. Okay, against Florida and against Carolina, he saved maybe Varlamov was against Carolina. I forget. But he looked fantastic in those games. This one here yesterday, he made 1 or 2 of those highlight reel saves. That's it. But everything is, the defense letting guys stand on the side of the net, and there goes the puck, pop it in. What can Sokin do about that? Gungun says, Grumpy, good observation after the win versus the Canes. They barely farted out a win versus shit goalie, AHL goalie. What happens when they play against the real deal goalies? At least there won't be any third period chokes. Yeah. That's going to be problematic for the Islanders. When you play good teams and they're starting their best goaltender, you're going to lose. Not good enough.
I'll say this here too. I think even Sokin, as he hasn't played as good as he did last year, he's still a top 10 goalie in the NHL. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Top 5.
I think he's still playing at the level of a top 10 goalie in the NHL. And I mean, like,
Top 5.
okay. I'd say even if you're extremely critical, you can't say, he's not even a top 10 goalie in the NHL this season. He's facing a boatload of shots. He's facing tough teams.
High danger chances.
High danger chances. We're hemmed in our own zone, period after period after period after period. And what are you expecting from him? He's facing a firing squad night after night after night. You're going to give up goals, right? It's just going to be that simple. I kind of wish, just for the thought of it, that the Islanders were to play Varlamov more, just to show the fans it's like, oh shit, okay, if we're playing Varlamov against the tougher teams, we're playing him in tough situations. Oh, okay, he's getting exposed just as much as Sorokin is. That's what I kind of wish for a little bit.
Not me. You don't pay Sorokin $8.5 million for 8 years and sit him on the bench. He's the best goalie you have.
I mean, I'm just sick and tired of the narrative that he's the problem. He's the reason we're losing games.
Who are these? These are probably Lamanites you're talking to.
Phil was blaming last night. He said if Varlamov was in net, we win last night.
Sure. Right. Okay.
He also told me that Sorokin didn't make one good save all night.
He's wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong.
I agree with you there. Yeah. Okay, here. Did you read this by Gun Grump?
Yes. Doug Sarabo, I think, is next after that. I already did that. No, I didn't read that one. I don't know where you are.
How about Jamie?
Okay. Sure, the players take the onus. Samuel Bolduc, Oliver Wahlstrom, LOL. Yeah.
Those are the guys who take. Is X not starring comments today? What the fuck is going on?
There's a lot of starred comments already.
I'm the only one doing it. Drew L.
When does the fans just chant "Fire Lou" for this horrendous roster construction? I swear, all the fans who chanted "Fire Lambert" last night are certified. It's not his. Here's the thing: does he need to go? Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
But what's the reason? It's not like he can't coach. The group's just tuned him out. You're going to get somebody else in there, and unless you need to get an ass kicker out there. I wish Tortorella,
a real asshole.
I wish Tortorella was still available. That's the type of guy they need to coach this soft group.
I've brought this up in the offseason. I said, sometimes you need an asshole in the room, a player who's an asshole in the room, because you can't be all buddy. You can't be all, hey, well, we're not going to hold somebody accountable because they're my friend, they're my buddy. Occasionally you need a guy who's just going to go in there and hold everybody accountable. And he's not there to have friends. He's not there to be joking around in the cul-de-sac, eating brats on Saturday night and eating hamburgers in the summertime. He's over there to say, I'm here to fucking win. And that's it. We don't have any assholes in the locker room. We don't. Teams occasionally need an asshole. Simple.
If Tortorella was coaching this team, Anders Lee would be on the bench.
If Tortorella was coaching this team, we would not be blowing third period leads like this, because as soon as that shit started happening, people getting benched, people getting chewed out, there would be none of that shit. And players, guess what? They would all have a common enemy. It would be Tortorella. It would be Tortorella. So, it'd be a very short-term fix, but he'd be better. I think he'd be a better fit right now, because I think it's a culture problem a little bit.
I despise the Flyers.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't think the Flyers are very good, honestly. They're another team that can't handle a puck at all. How many chances they had, just couldn't get the job done against the Islanders. But I'll tell you what, he's done a really good job turning that team around. Last year, you had all the fat cat guys, the Culdesac Crew in Philadelphia, whatever they call them. Maybe they all hang at the hoagie shop or whatever they do in Philadelphia, eating the grinders and drinking the pop. But here's the thing. He unloaded the vast majority of those guys. You're not going to play on my team. And he played all the young guys, and they're showing out this year. Are they good enough to make the playoffs? No.
Probably not.
But are they going to be better than last year? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Did you read this whole comment, Grump?
I didn't read it all. Michael M. says, Lambert runs his defense into the ground before the third, not playing certain players. It kills them. 2, on an empty net, Barzal should frighten other teams to make plays that they passed around us a million times. Well, was Barzal even out on the ice in those critical circumstances? I don't think he is.
No.
He's got his old, whoever Barry put out there before him, the same guys.
Yeah. And then Frank K, grumpy old man.
The fact that anyone blames our goaltending in any loss this year is ridiculous. No goaltending is saving this piece of crap, D. Absolutely. Stephen C says Lambert shows no emotion, no accountability, doesn't call anyone out.
I disagree on the emotion. He is a much more emotional of a coach than Barry Trotz was. And accountability, we said the same thing about Trotz. And now looking back on it, there's a lot of criticisms we have of Trotz that we think maybe more are out of the control of the coach. At the time period, it got blamed for the coach, but I'm thinking it's out of the control of the coach at this point. For accountability, like as we mentioned, let's say Dobson has a really bad game or he's having some real bad shifts. Are you benching Dobson to say, here we go, Bolduc, you're playing more action? Or are you benching Pelech when he's healthy, or Pulak or Mayfield, and say, here you go, Samuel Bolduc, I need you to play 20 minutes tonight? That doesn't sniff of a good success. And a lot of people are now saying, Mike Riley's so fantastic. Feel like saying this.
Come on. Stop.
Oh man, he was playing a top 4 pairing there for.
He was never a top 4 player in Boston. Yeah, absolutely never was. I don't want to even hear that bullshit.
Look at the minutes on the ice. Well, here, you want to know how much they valued him when he was waived. Nobody else came knocking on his door except the Islanders, who just conveniently happened to have an LTIR injury of Adam Pelech. This guy was signed to a 1-year, $1 million deal, or whatever the hell it was waived by the Florida Panthers. That's how much they valued him. Then picked up by the Islanders. Nobody else came knocking on his door first. And the only reason he was picked up by the Islanders is because Pelech coincidentally happened to be placed on long-term injury there with that wrist injury.
He'll be with the Islanders the rest of the year, though.
Sure.
He's been okay. But
I think they're going to waive Bolduc. They're going to send him back down. They'll have to waive him. Because I think he's on a 1-week contract.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Here you go here. Gungun says here, Huda or McLean? Phil's facts for new coach.
Oh, neither one. It'll be McLean, though.
Adam P.
Grumpy, when you read this back later, what should Lane do? How about show some balls, get angry and break a clipboard, yell, walk off the beach, storm off the locker room, show he's got some balls?
I think this team doesn't listen.
I just think they've tuned it out. I think they've tuned him out. I guarantee he's ripped the guys in the room. We've seen him go at the players.
If you go to the games live and if you watch the games before he was the head coach, he was the only coach on the bench that was ripping players on the bench. Now that he's the head coach, maybe things are a little different. Can't rip him to the same extent on the ice. Maybe he does that more behind the closed doors. But he's absolutely a fiery and emotional guy. So I don't know where that's coming from. And that's what Stefan Rosner said, too. He's a guy who absolutely has a lot of emotion the team wants to fight for. Absolutely. I just think at this point, the team is – I think there's so many fat cats that have been given long-term extensions that it's like, no, it's detrimental. You need a few assholes in a room that say, fuck you guys. We're not playing like this anymore.
True.
Max P.
What's up, fellas? Bottom line, there is no team we can't lose to. No lead we can't lose. We are the best in the NHL at that. Yes, we are.
That is true. My little brownie grump.
Everyone looked confused on where they should be playing 6-on-5. Don't they practice that? They practice that.
Yep.
But it's like everyone started gripping. Oh my God, they just stood around and were just holding their sticks so tight. Just puck watching. It's like that. I think that's why Lambert's shaking his head. He's like, we've probably done this 4,000 times. And all of a sudden, a little bit of adversity, and you just fall apart week after game after game after game after game. Frustrating.
We teach Scott Mayfield when he clears a puck to put some nut behind it, not throw it through the middle of the ice. We teach our guys when we're trying to hold on to a lead, not to pile 2 or 3 guys behind the net and leave guys unmarked and unmanned in front of the net when the game gets close. We teach the players to put pressure and to go ahead and to press the point and to make it tough to enter the blue line. But we don't actually do any of that during the game. But we teach them that, and they do it during practice.
I would be hard pressed if Lane said, okay, let's do a 6-on-5 run, and everybody just stands still on the defensive end. I'm sure. Okay, hey, that's great, guys. Good way to end practice. Nice job just standing out there. No, what he's telling them what to do, and they freeze. One guy starts freezing, another guy freezes. Oh my God, terrible. Scott Levy says,
we need some fights to start breaking out of practice. That's really we need strife within the player group and the Culdesac Crew needs to die.
That's
That
not.
that needs to die off in the team.
You think any of that's happening in the cul-de-sac? It's not.
It needs. I'm just telling you what needs to happen.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all.
not going to happen. Scott Levy says Columbus had no problem healthy scratching Patrick Laine. Why can't the Islanders do that? Something like that. Enough with the Culdesac Crew. Absolutely. You know how? Yeah, you want to send a message. I'll never forget. A couple of years ago, benching the young guy sends a message to the veteran. No, it doesn't. You bench veterans.
Our
And the
boy
first
Arthur
guy,
Staples said that.
full of shit. That never. I mean, come on, dude. You've been covering teams for years and years and years, and do you really believe benching a young guy sends a message to a veteran who's got a 7-year contract? Oh, no. Here's what should happen. New coach comes in, Andersley, you're riding the freaking bench for a couple of weeks. I don't give a shit if you're the captain. You're sitting. Your play is not good enough. He plays well when he's on that third line. You see him actually hustle. As soon as he goes back to the first line, sorry, he's got to go. Stephen C says, this is a team that
Steven.
It's Stephen.
No, Steven. That's how you spell Steven Grump.
Oh, whatever.
He says, this
Mr. Cartier says, this is a team that is 3 points out of second place in the division, all left on the table. There is a leadership issue, not the players. Oh, I disagree. I think it's firmly on the players.
I think it's the player in their heads as well that they can't accomplish what needs to be accomplished to be successful either. Goon Grump.
The 2022 Phillies were the third team in Major League Baseball history to make the World Series the same year they fired their manager, joining the 78 Yankees and the 2003 Marlins. Islanders might as well give it a shot. Yeah, that's not happening. Meatball Palm says, I love you guys, but it hurts you so much to blame anything on 30.
It hurts to blame anything on Sorokin.
Yeah, it's not Sorokin's fault. It's not Sorokin's fault. Come on.
The Meatball Palm, the way I look at goalies is like this. And maybe we disagree with how, I think people disagree with how we view goalies. This is the way I view goalies. Goalies are going to have bad games. Comes into territory. It's like a starting pitcher. Most starting pitchers, they're going to have a game every once in a while where they pitch 4 innings and gave up 6 earned runs. And they couldn't find the zone. Okay, that happens. They're going to have games where they look lights out, where they're pitching, 7 innings, 1 hit ball, where they're striking out 13 guys. That's just how it's going to be. What you want there from your starting goalie is the amount of good games to far outweigh the amount of bad games. And he makes fantastic saves even in the bad games. You look at the goaltending around the league, we are blessed with 2 outstanding netminders. Varlamov as a backup is fantastic. Sorokin as a starter is fantastic. We're blessed with great goaltending. Goaltending is not the issue on this team. I think it's because the mindset that people are taking is, we saw what Sorokin did last year. He needs to replicate best goalie since they started tracking goals saved above expected. He needs to do that and break the record every year. That's just not a reasonable expectation. It's just not, is the unfortunate portion. And here's the thing too. The problem is not goaltending on the team. The problem is not, okay, we have trouble keeping the puck out of the net. Our goalies are letting a lot of weak goals. Our problem is our defense is poorest at best. The problem is we allow easy zone entries. We're bottom 6 in the NHL in scoring. That's why we're losing games. It's not because, oh man, Sorokin had a little bit of a bad night tonight, or Sorokin hasn't been saving .930 save percentage this year. That's not the reason we're losing games this year. We're losing because we're not scoring goals. Our defense is porous at best. We just look shambolic when it comes down to leads that we're holding late. And we're giving up 35 to 40 shots a night. That's why we're losing games. It's not because of Sorokin.
Right.
So could Sorokin make more saves? Sure he can. He's not the Sorokin of last year, but he's still a damn good goalie. So you're not going to see me blaming the damn good goalie. It's like when Barzal wasn't putting up points early this season. I said, Barzal is fantastic. I love the way he's been playing. People said, no, he's got to do a lot more. We expect more from $9 million a year. He's looked fantastic as of recent. And the goals have come too, and the points have come. He's the best skating forward that we have. By far.
He's the best. He's our best forward by far.
Even when Brock Nelson had more points than him and was looking like, he's really lighting up on the score sheet, Matt Barzal was still the best forward. Rick Romagrump.
I can't just look at attendance. I want to know the prices of the tickets and how many are giveaways. Didn't Columbus have $4 tickets last time you checked? No idea. So just looking at the attendance is a little bit misleading. Well,
they look at it like this, I guess. They're expecting if they can get fannies in the seats, they could go ahead and sell their overpriced beer and their overpriced Coca-Cola instead of charging $50 for a nosebleed seat. They would rather say, we would rather have that person in the stadium buying our overpriced merchandise, our jerseys, our little novelty items, instead of just saying we rather go ahead and win maybe a $30 head. Or maybe we would rather maybe take $30 less on the head in order to sell more merchandise.
It means that families can go, right?
Yeah.
Let's say $10 ticket night. Families go. Well, guess what? Every kid, can I have a hot dog? I need a soda.
Can I get a mini hockey stick, Dad? Can I get a puck for the game? Okay, sure. We'll go ahead and buy it. Whatever. We paid $4 on the ticket. Sure, we can splurge and spend a little bit on the concessions. We could spend a little bit here because I'm only paying $4 on the ticket. They just rather have fans in the seats.
You're not making any money with people who stay at home.
That's
just
correct.
not. Just that plain and simple.
Yeah.
Joseph C says, shouldn't have been a hard time doing better attendance in a 2-year-old building.
Yeah, you shouldn't have a hard time having better attendance in a 2-year-old.
But why? Because the product's not entertaining. That's why. Product's not entertaining.
We don't play entertaining hockey, but at least we were winning games before. Now we're not winning games. We don't play entertaining hockey. What's the point of going? If you're in the New York area and you've been to the UBS arena a few times, you're like, well, okay, whatever. I've been there. I don't need to continue to go. Nick D says here, Grumpy, TJ, Sunex, how you guys doing tonight? I don't blame Lane. I blame Lou the Destructor. Lou the Destructor. He's the one who signed the players. He should be fired. And no matter which side you sit on, maybe you think Lane is awful. Maybe you think Lane needs to be fired. Maybe you think Lane's doing an okay job and or it's on Lou. No matter what, if you think that Lane's the problem, Lou's keeping Lane here. Lou hasn't fired Lane. So if your problem's with Lane, your problem also, conversely, is with Lou. Lou is keeping Lane here.
Yes.
He's your problem. No matter which side of the board you're sitting on, bad roster composition or he's keeping the wrong coach there, Lou is at fault for both of these items. Lou is the common denominator. Lou is the problem more so than on everybody's list. Lou should be the problem. If you don't like the coach being here, but you're okay with Lou, that just doesn't make logical sense. Doug asks, Grumpy.
There are professional athletes that make millions to play a sport. They don't care about winning or losing. They act like it, but they are just as happy to get paid. They don't care about anything. Absolutely. Yes. When you get a little bit up there in age, what are you looking for? You're looking for comfort. That's what you're looking for. The drive isn't there.
You're looking for security.
Yep, security and comfort. Right.
Yep.
Security for your family, comfort. I don't want to move my kids. They're in school here. That's why they all get no trade clauses. Yep. We gave up 33 shots to San Jose. Breaking news, we suck. I looked at the stats and it said 43 or 42.
Maybe that's when you said 33. I'll look up the actual amount of shots we give up. Don't worry, Grumpy. Okay. My little brownie Grump.
Grump, your mood says you've moved from anger to resignation. Am I right? Anger is not, it's denial. Anger, I was never in denial. Anger, yeah. Bargaining, no. Not bargaining. Depression, no, skip that. Acceptance, yes, I agree. Right to the acceptance stage.
I'm showing Sorokin faced 37 shots against. Who the hell knows? Maybe they're all different. I was looking the shot. Apparently, we only had 30. We had 39 shots on the Shocks, and we faced 37.
I looked at ESPN.
Okay, maybe it's that. I'll look up.
Whatever. Here's the thing: inexcusable to give up more than 20 shots to a team like that because they're terrible.
Yeah, I'll pull it up here real quick here. Grumpy, next comment here from Frank.
Hello, Grumpy, old man, and TJ, an awesome audience. Thank you.
Got a lot of congratulations. Thank you so much, guys, for the congratulations. We got here on S.
Grumpy's point that the players must be held responsible is true, but you need to bring in a disciplinarian like Gerard Gallant to set these players right. Okay. They need to bring in a disciplinarian. Gerard Gallant is not the guy. He is absolutely a player's coach. You're right. They do need a disciplinarian, but that's not Gerard Gallant. They need a real hard ass. You know what? They're few and far between.
Yep. And the way players are, where it's a coddling society and everybody coddles the players because they're so fantastic. They've been praised their whole lives. It's tough. You can't do that. You're really be a ballsy guy to do that. Old school coaches do that. And thank you. I didn't mean to underplay. Thank you so much, guys, for all the congratulations. Very, very thankful. But in lieu of just taking too much time, and thanks JK, thanks Adam, thanks Matthew S, thanks Adam, Joseph C, thanks Michael Boucher, thank you everybody who put congratulations in there. I'm sure X didn't star every single congratulations that was here, but thank you so much for all the congratulations, guys. It really does mean a lot there, the support here of the community. So thank you so much for that. Matthew S. Grumpy.
Lee Mayfield and Romanov need to be benched. Well, you can't play with 4 defensemen.
That's the unfortunate truth here. Michael S.
Now, Trey Barzell, I'm in that group. I'd love to watch him in Vegas. The problem is how many teams could afford that salary cap hit? If you're moving Matt Barzell, you're in full blown rebound, full blown rebuild.
Yeah. Michael M also says, give him to a team with less Jags. There it is. There it is. You will be interested to know the Carolina Hurricanes game has started. It is not even. Oh shit! I forgot to update the fantasy lineup. The Carolina Hurricanes game is not even. It was not even 3 minutes in, and they were down 2-0 to the Oilers. Oh my gosh! I don't know who the hell is playing in net for the Hurricanes. Oh, Peter Kochekov, baby. Yeah.
Kochekov again. Blows. Those are throwaway games.
They made quick work of Kochekov. They're already up 2-0 on him. It's not even 5 minutes into the game there on Kochekov.
Sucks. He sucks. AHL guy. Bronta must be hurt. I know Freddie Anderson's hurt. That's one thing Carolina didn't do with offseason. I thought they needed to upgrade their goaltending. And they didn't. So it's Anderson and Ranta and, AHL boy. And then, but the same thing with Jersey. To me, it's so obvious that they need a goaltender.
I think the amount of goalies that are good in this league is so few and far between that they don't really have many options.
But Clutterbuck, who's the guy in Winnipeg? What the hell is his name?
Oh, you mean Connor Hellebuck?
Hellebuck, yeah. He was available. Why not throw him a couple of first-round draft picks? Your team is young and built to win now, and you are going with the shitty goaltenders, and that's what's going to beat them. Absolutely, it is. You need a goaltender. I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh well, they won with this guy in goal. He sucks." Yeah, how often does that happen?
Oh shit. Oh man, they're up 3-0 on Peter Kochekov. Wow, I left McDavid on the fucking bench. I have not been paying attention to my fantasy league. Damn it, I'm playing the grumpy old man this week.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. On Monday, I didn't play any of my guys. I lost 7 points in that one day. So don't cry me that you sat one guy one day. I don't want to even hear it.
I think about this. Peter Kochekov has given up 3 goals in the first 5 minutes. He's given up 3 goals on 6 shots. And this is what we were celebrating a win over the Carolina Hurricanes. We got 15 shots on net.
Yeah. I said, that goalie blows.
We should have fucking killed them. Absolutely murdered them. But we were dominated the entire night on the ice. We got very fortunate to win. That's what I'll say.
That's the only thing that Carolina could do. They play like with an empty net. That's about the only thing, right? I mean, but he sucks. Everything bounces off. I mean, I don't know. Get rid of him.
Thanks, Coach Tommy B there. And he congratulated you on becoming a granddaddy there, Grumpy.
Yeah.
And a lovely Miss Page. Thank you so much. And Mazel Tov, says Frank K. Thanks again. Thank you so much, everybody there. And I'm not sure if X, maybe X did to get Alex. Thanks, Alex, there. Thanks, my little brownie. Thanks, Dan L. Thank you so much there. Enjoy every second of it. Absolutely. Thank you guys. And thanks. Oh, the grandpa old man. I like that.
We're still trying to figure out what my name is going to be. And the warden says it's not going to be Grumpy. That's all she said.
I don't care. Your name is Grumpy. I determined that. Your name is Grumpy. That's what you'll be called. Grumpy. We're going to give Grumpy a call.
The warden is not going to be happy.
It's going to be fun when they're like, "Oh yeah, tell us about your grandparents." Well, I've got Grumpy. I've got Grandma. Yeah, you're going to be Grumpy. No, sorry, I've already determined that for you. I think it's a great name. It's grown too large, Grumpy. It is. Just is at this point. Michael M. Grump.
I'm entertained when Barzell hits the ice and Dobson. You know what? He was not talking like that a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
He's not entertained by the product, but he's entertained by 2 players.
Is he trying to break away from the Lamanites?
He's not. He absolutely has. I guess he's seen the light, Grumpy. He's seen the future. He's seen what's going to come. Drew Ells, congratulations on the kid. TJ, play the clap sound effect. You remember what Howard Stern said in his movie Private Parts. He's got that super sperm. Yeah. Here you go, Grumpy. There it is. A little congrats. And thanks, John A., for the congratulations there. Tommy B. Grumpy.
Breaking, Lou to become a great-great-great-grandfather. I don't know about that.
Yeah, maybe. Who the hell knows? Wow, dude. Tony Cheese said, I can't have anything nice. I have a kid. Now TJ has one. That's right, Tony Cheese. That's what we thought of it too. We did it to spite Tony Cheese. Michael M says your third period grump was half of those shots.
Okay. Well, guess what? You don't just count the first 2 periods for shots on goal. You count the whole game. That's the way it works. So yeah. I don't care. The fact that they gave up the majority of the shots in the third period, I could care less. At the end of the day, they got overwhelmed with the shots from San Jose of all teams.
Drew L. Grumpy.
I would just introduce your future child to hockey when the Islanders are good again. Might be best for his mental health. It's not going to be a boy. It's going to be a girl.
Yep. JK says, as a parent of 2 kids, TJ, I need to respond by saying, welcome to hell.
I disagree with that, Jake. I'm sorry. Oh, he's smiling there. I told TJ and Paige, I said, let me tell you something. The best part of your life is getting ready to happen right now. Absolutely.
Drew L.
Says, if TJ's kid became a Knicks fan, that won't happen. I die laughing. Again, it's going to be a girl. He can join the team with a real direction. She's going to wear her little Matt Barzell jersey. Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't watch basketball for pleasure. I watch college basketball. I don't watch NBA for pleasure.
What are you looking for? Torture? I don't watch basketball for pleasure. Why do you watch it?
To stay up to date, to stay knowledgeable on everything that's going on. I don't like the NBA as much. I don't. It's like, meh, not big. Anthony Lena says, retool already.
Be careful on that ladder, Anthony. That's all I'm going to say.
Tony Cheese says, TJ must be spending a fortune on ice cream. No. Peppermint milkshakes are back at Chick-fil-A, so yeah, we are buying a lot of those. Andre M.
He eats a half a gallon a night. NGRM says, guys, did you see Boda's latest tweet? Time for Malkin to come out of the European villa in London and speak. Don't want to hear from Ledecky. Ooh, wow. Now, Chris Boda has a bit.
He obviously does not like ownership and does not. He was severed. He used to be a guy who was well connected. He used to be a made man, and he got kicked.
Nope. Yep.
So I can understand. He wants the team to struggle. Michael M.
I agree with the cul-de-sac mentality, but if you bring in a winning coach like Iverson and they still play like this, we can narrow down the problems. Do you really not know who the problems are in this roster? I don't need another coach to show me. I've seen it for years. Same guys. The guys who are, the men, the made men, so to speak. They're the biggest problem.
He said, this is what Chris said. I still hope Scott Malkin would be transparent someday and share his vision for the Islanders. It makes fans think that this was just another real estate play. He's not highly engaged with the team, and the president/general manager has no accountability. That can't be true, right? Well, I mean, actually, that's honest. From this comment, this is 100% what we believe as well. Now, here's the thing. I've kind of come to accept that that's what their play is. They're 100% in it for the real estate. I think that's probably the situation. It's the reason why they keep Lou Lamoriello here. I don't think Lou gets fired. I don't let you know. I think Lou pretty much has a lifetime contract here if he wants to be here. And ownership is okay with that. I think ownership is preoccupied with other areas of the organization. Not so much the future, unfortunately.
True.
Matthew S. says, I like Everson, but he won't work with he won't want to work with this egomaniac general manager.
Do you really think that Lou Lamoriello is going to go outside of his comfort zone for new coaching hire?
The one thing I'll tell you is the older people get, the more they love to explore. They love to do things that are well outside their comfort zone. Yeah.
Here's the thing on the nose. Belichick in New England. He only hires guys that he doesn't go outside the organization. It'll cost him. Belichick's gone after this year. He's got his He's got all former Patriot players on the coaching staff. He's got his sons working there. And whenever he looks outside the organization, he never looks outside the organization, because guess what? As you get older, you want to just have that comfort level. That's what you want. He one time came and says, I only want guys that, he's not looking at talent for players. He wants guys that he feels comfortable with. Shit, no wonder they're 2-10.
Just you know what it reminds me of too? Just like Bill Belichick said, I want to bring back for a while. He had Josh McDaniels back with. I want to bring back Bill O'Brien. I want to go ahead and bring back Patricia. Patricia. I want to bring back. My son's going to be here. It reminds me a lot of Lou Lamoriello. I got to bring back McLean. I want to bring back Doug Huda. I want to go ahead and bring back Coach A and Coach B that I've worked with in the past there, either with the Devils or Toronto. I want to make this a reincarnation of the old buddies I used to have there that I trust. Absolutely. Look at how that works out. And here's the thing. Bill Belichick is probably, you're not going to like this statement, Grump, but I'd say at this point, he's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach in NFL history. And the same thing with general manager.
Not GM. But coach, yes, not GM.
He was the guy who drafted Brady. He was the guy who took the risk and drafted Gronkowski. He was the guy who made a few of these picks work.
Okay. Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. You're just throwing darts at a freaking board there. Just stop.
He threw the right dart, though. You get credit for that.
Yeah, because Dick Rabine, who was he was pushing for him, Brady. So in the 6th round, if he was real, if Belichick thought it would help him out, he would have drafted him in the 2nd round or the 1st round. Nobody knew. Okay. And here's the thing. The reason why Patriots won those 6 Super Bowls is Tom Brady. I say it again. Coaches lose games, players win them. That's just what you see it everywhere. But that's not to take away absolutely excellent coach. Absolutely. Greatest coach of all time. Maybe Lombardi. You got to throw him in the mix too, right? But
yeah, I guess we'll throw him in there. But yeah, exactly. That's my thing, though. And Lou Lamoriello was heralded as a fantastic general manager, one of the best GMs of all time. But guess what?
You're in your 80s.
Eventually, when you start getting older like that and you rely too much upon comfort, complacency, the knowledge you have of these people and working there for a team instead of, okay, what young, hungry go-getter is going to be more productive in the role that he would be in, that's when you kind of start to see things tail off. Milo Brownie says, congratulations, Grump, and the warden on the first grandchild there. Frank DaCosta, Grump.
I'm trying to stay sober until I really need a drink, until I forget my problems. They are the Islanders game tomorrow. Oh, man.
Louis C. Grump.
I'm freaking disgusted with this team. Just when I think it couldn't possibly get worse, they pull some crap like that. I've been watching this team for 40 freaking years. I cannot even process what I watched last night. A new all-time low. Frick's sake. Unhappy.
Goon Grump.
Grumpy, I disagree with you with Ted. Mayfield is just a piss poor as Romanoff. Yeah, he needs a puck mover with him. That's what he does. His play tailed off last year. That's continued this year. But you better get used to seeing him because he's got 6.5 years left.
He's not.
That's why you move a guy like that at the freaking deadline.
We've talked about this. He's not a great regular season player. At this point in time in his career, he's more of a postseason player because they allow you to get away with a lot more holding, clutching, and grabbing. Look at the amount of holding, clutching, and grabbing Mayfield does now. Amplify that by 2 or 3 when the playoffs happen. And in the postseason, they don't call any of that shit. So he looks like, oh, great, he's shutting people down left and right. It's because he's holding, clutching, grabbing, sticking people. None of that shit gets called. He faces a lot of minor penalties now on the team, and that's only going to get worse with age. Frank K. Grumpy.
Did Cizikas blame the fans for their choke job last night? Romanoff is an awful defenseman, and Mayfield is painful this year. What's the difference on that, right? Mayfield now, he has security, 7 years, 3.5 per. He's not with no move clause, no trade clause. He's comfortable as hell.
I don't think the Stanley Cup motivates the guys in this room.
I don't either.
And that's what motivates you? Well, when you have contracts guaranteed for 7 years and 6 years and a cup's not motivating you, what really motivates you? Not much. I don't think this team is motivated by a Stanley Cup is the unfortunate thing. So, Go ahead, Grump.
Andrew M says, continue. Time for Malkin to come out of the European villa in London and speak. Don't want to reestablish that high standard the franchise needs to have. Enough of the hiding, or go sell the team. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of infrastructure going in that area, and he's going to make money. I mean, that's
airport.
Okay, but but here's the thing: every owner of anything, they want to return on their investment. They want to make money. That's what the whole thing's about. You're not just buying it just to throw money into a money pit. That's not what they're doing. Mike Moisa says, Grumpy, no number, stat, or analytic reflect that Romanov's been the issue on that line. Romanov's been great with Noah. Absolutely freaking wrong. Absolutely wrong. Romanov blows. Sorry. He sucks.
The analytics say that Romanov played well, but it's only the analytics.
Don't spout your laminate tripe over here. It doesn't fly. We watch the games. I don't need to watch. Oh, hold on. I just watched it. Let me go to the little analytics. Oh, look. Oh, he was actually good. I know he was on the ice for 5 goals against, but boy, his analytics are really, really strong. No, he blows. That's it. Sorry.
That's not what Mike does, though. First off, come on, don't say Michael does that. But
I don't know. Oh, yeah, right. I don't think he's smart enough to do that. He's
Grumpy. He does. He is analytics. There are people who are more analytically driven. Romanov's analytics are not bad, but he does not pass the eye test. I watch him out there every single night. I'm like, yikes, man. He just looks like he consistently wanders away from his assignment. He's lost in his own zone. He's lost in transition. He looks like a guy that is probably told what to do, but maybe he's just not, like, in live action, he's just not smart enough or just doesn't have enough in-game awareness to notice what he should be doing. So I worry about that. That pairing has been the Islanders' most dominant pairing defensively.
Whatever. Doug S says, part 2, everyone gets frustrated with the Islanders, like they don't have 4 cups and been to the Eastern Conference Finals in back-to-back years. What else do you want? Most teams have no championships.
Hold on.
I don't believe in that.
I don't want us to go 40 plus years without a cup, right? If there's 32 teams in the league, well, maybe we should be coming up on one sometime soon.
Moses wandered the desert longer than since the Islanders won a Stanley Cup. Well, not really, but it's really close.
It's going to be approaching that. Don't worry. It's going to be more than 40 years, Grumpy. I'll tell you that much. We're not winning a cup with this current team. We're about to go through a rebuild. It's going to be a long fucking time before we're a real competitor. I want our team, like, this is, Doug, this is what I want from our team. And I made this here. I made this comment and statement here on Twitter. I want our team to celebrate greatness. I want our team. I want to celebrate us dominating teams. I want to celebrate us out-possessing teams in the offensive zone. I want to celebrate us having more shots than opponents. I want to celebrate us playing shutdown defense. I want to celebrate us, putting up points in droves, having great special teams, being a fun, exciting team to watch, being a fast team. That's what I want to celebrate us watching. I want to celebrate us being a real Stanley Cup contender. I don't want to celebrate us being, we're mediocre, or maybe we make the postseason every year. That's a reason to be excited. That's not, I'm sorry. As a fan, being average is not something I want to celebrate anymore. So anyway, got another comment here. Adam P., grumpy old man.
Make the little fella Bolts fan so he can enjoy a cup this decade. It's going to be a girl, so no one knew. But it's funny.
I like how everybody thinks it's a boy, though.
Everyone defaults to boy, and I do too. I'll be honest with you. So, but, we're happy. This will be the first girl in the family forever, ever. So,
JP, grumpy old man.
She's going to be spoiled as hell. JP says, happy to hear the news, TJ. That's great.
Thanks, JP. Just he said, do you know the gender? Yep. Hopefully it's a girl.
So she's not as attached to sports as you and Grumpy are. LOL.
I was about to say, I'm going to have to pick up some new hobbies, I guess. Oof.
Oh, boy.
I can't just piss away all my time watching this mediocre franchise. Michael Bechet, Grump.
Maybe if we get a brand new ownership, maybe we can be better for the future, but the bleeding has to stop. I agree. But I don't think they're going to do anything. They should have already brought in, like I've said 1,000 times before, a young GM to train under the old man, kick him upstairs, kick him out, let the young guys come on with new thoughts and ideas. That's what they need.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Rick Roma says, congrats. Thanks, Rick Roma. I have a name suggestion. Anders Lee. Anders Lee Roma Lamarillo. If it's a girl, Kate. Oh, goodness. Scott L. Grumpy old man.
By the time TJ and Paige's child goes to college, the so-called identity line will still be playing for the Islanders. That's a possibility. She's going to be smart. I'm telling you right now. Drew says, ex-moderators get comments privilege. Remember that.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Ex-moderators get okay. Tony G says,
–
what the hell is the doctor wife thinking having a giant baby?
Good question.
And here's the thing. Paige is a very tall girl also.
Yeah. Frank says, congratulations, teaching Paige. My daughter is magic for the heart, as you'll learn, young grasshopper. Well, thank you. Thank you there, Frank. Thank you. TJ, you're making your kid an Islanders fan. I'm going to call you. I'm going to call your state's Child Protective Services on you. I know.
Ooh, wow.
I know. Maybe we could just give up on the sport. We could just I don't know. Maybe we'll give up on the Islanders before
Tony says, oh God, is X going to be the godfather? I don't think he could spiritually guide a cat. Oh wow.
I hadn't even thought about that, to be honest with you. That's a good question. I don't know. Hit the thumbs up, says Frank. Absolutely hit the thumbs up there. Frank says, like I told you guys last year, Barzal and Horvat make each other way better. Well, now, I think Barzal could do this without Horvat still.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I had no problem with Horvat. I was glad he came. He got overpaid, too much term, too much money. But I thought he and Barzal, I just think they need a stud left wing. That's all. Freedom Fun Adventure says, Grumpy and TJ, I just tuned in, and TJ is griping about Horvat. I don't think you've been complaining about Horvat.
I've been saying I was just saying I think he's played well this season.
Yeah, you didn't rip him at all.
No, I think he's played well.
John DeBella says, congratulations, T and Paige. I don't think Lane is something to write home about, but the old buzzard is to blame for putting this roster together. Absolutely. Drew says, I don't know if you heard, but Pavillia got traded to Chicago and is playing on their first line. Good for him.
Not bad at all. Frank, grumpy old man.
Holmstrom had 2 assists. The best way to make Pajot a contributor is to keep playing him and Holmstrom together. They make each other better for sure. I have no problem with Holmstrom playing with Pajot and even Gauthier. I have no problem with that line.
Nope, no problem with that being the third line.
Fun Ventures, Grumpy, I'm so upset with you for the one show you were late to, and Tommy Baffy put the property brothers nonsense into your easily influenced eldest son's brain. Selling 10% is just a common move. Yeah, I tried to explain that to TJ, but he didn't want to get it. He's just selling a minority. They're still in control. He just sold a minority portion.
It's the portion behind it, though. Frank Grump.
In fairness to Lambert, he has the team way better offensively, and a power play is much better. PK and holding on to leads is the problem. But here's the thing: when you're playing more offensive, trying to generate goals, you get caught up ice because you're an older team, and you're not coming back on the forecheck, which leads to a flurry of chances. We've said the gap control between defense and forward group is just monstrous.
It's bad.
But here's the thing: our defensemen are not fleet of foot, with the exception of Dobson. So I guess Romanov's usually banging somebody along the boards, so he's not even really part of the defense. But you got to be able to skate, right? So they peel back, so they don't give away breakaways. It's not sustainable. It's a personnel problem. Sorry, Freedom Fun Adventure says Lambert isn't the problem. The Culdesac Crew is the problem, and their grandpa Lou. Absolutely. Empire State says San Jose. Go ahead, TJ. Go ahead.
San Jose is really good players. Not sure why they have such crappy. No, Frank, they do not. They have Kyle Burrows as one of their starting defensemen, and he's a guy who's been a career AHLer for the Islanders. Yeah, they've got bad player personnel in San Jose. It's the reason they're losing a lot of games. They do have a few good names. Like, I don't think who is it who's had surgery who hasn't played for them yet?
Logan Couture.
Okay, gotcha. He hasn't played for them at all yet this season. I mean, like, he's a very big player. I think he's an important player for them, but he hasn't played at all.
Also, Mike Greer's a shitty GM.
Yeah, he's been getting way underpaid when he's trading off assets. We said the same thing about Trotz. Yep. Similar things about Trotz. And we're like, okay, I don't think it's really the coach. Eval, grumpy old man.
Would sending Lee to Bridgeport send a strong message? Watch out. Nobody's safe. I wouldn't send him to Bridgeport. But what I would do, I'd bench him. You want
You
to
can't
get
go from
production?
being an everyday. You can't go from being an everyday guy on the first line then to being sent to Bridgeport. You know.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think Lee sucks, but that's a real slap in the face.
Yes.
You bench him. You bench him for a while. He'll come back playing hard. Work for Bailey. And then if he starts playing dogged like again, right back to the bench. Make him your whipping boy. Patrick Dougherty says, they don't play to win. They play not to lose. Lane is terrible, but come on, these players are pathetic. Agreed.
Mm-hmm. And then Joseph C., grumpy old man.
New York fans love the backup goalie almost as much as the backup quarterback. That's the most popular guy in any town is the backup quarterback. Absolutely.
Yep. Adam P.
I'm sick of saying year after year, this team needs to be broken up. Yeah. I mean, we're on the record. Eventually, everyone will come around to our way of thinking. Eventually, it's coming.
Yep.
Drew says, TJ definitely has Xfinity Wi-Fi. No shot he doesn't consider how much his stream pauses.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't have any radio.
Michael M. says, Sorokin is really good, but he and Varley play a completely different style, and Varley has been better. How many games has Varlamov played?
I'll tell you.
I mean, I know it's not a shitload, right? Let's be honest.
I'll tell you. I'll put it up here. Here you go, Grumpy. Next comment, I'll pull it up. All right, buddy.
Okay. Frank from Empire State says, neither Sorokin nor Shesterkin haven't been that good. Maybe pushing that SUV screwed them.
And remember in the summer, they did the little SUV push.
Very possible.
Sorokin has played Varlamov has played 8 games so far this year, has a 4-3-1 record, 926 save percentage, and a 250 goals against average.
And what's Sorokin's numbers?
I'll tell you in a second. Give me a sec here. Next comment, Grumpy.
Okay, I'll go to the next comment. Gungun says, regarding my earlier comment about Varlamov starting a few games, I didn't think Sorokin is bad. I'm thinking of when Melanson would start a string of games in 82 and 83 over Smith. It couldn't hurt. Okay. I mean, I don't think Sorokin's play has been terrible. I think the play in front of him has been abysmal. I think that's the biggest issue. Patrick Dougherty says, did you see Herzl's 3 goals last night? Nobody is stopping any of those goals. Absolutely. The defenseman just let them wide open. That's why I hate, here's the thing, the last goal. Oh my God, Sorokin lost the game. That puck was deflected. It was deflected.
To give you a little bit of an update here, Grumpy, he's got a 319 goals against average and a 911 save percentage.
So he's down from last year.
Yeah.
But you expect that. How many goalies have goals against like 2.2 and 93% save percentage every year? Nobody.
Yes, exactly right. Very, very few have that. And then AJ Piazza, Grump.
If this doesn't make it obvious to rebuild, I don't know what does. Call up Ishikov, play Wally and Bolduc every game. JGP, Pellick, Lee, and Mayfield have got to go. Barzell and Dobson have been great. The problem is all those guys you mentioned who have to sit all have no trade clauses. They ain't going anywhere. That's why you don't give away no trade clauses. You're stuck with them.
Well, it just makes it very limited on where they can go. Freedom from adventure, Grumpy.
Grumpy and TJ aren't always correct. Sometimes TJ is insane, but thank God these guys aren't scared little wimps like the cartel media. Here's the thing. You might say some crazy things, but I'm never wrong.
Oh, you're wrong.
Okay, I'll say I'm wrong 99% of the time. I'm right. I'm right.
Yeah, you're wrong 99%. Somebody
right,
clip that right there. He's wrong 99% of the time.
I'm right 99% of the time, and that's being generous in the other direction. So, Drew says, it's crazy how we're still so bad at scoring, yet our power play is top 10. Isles continue to aisle. Well, why? Why do those things happen? I mean, it means your 5-on-5 play is freaking abysmal. That's what it means.
5-on-5 play has been hideous. Absolutely hideous. AJ Piazza, Grump.
Also, Holmstrom and Spano game recently. Absolutely. He's been okay on the third line. No problem with him being on the third line. Brings a little youth, a little bit of cost certainty for a couple of years, and he does his role pretty well. He still can't. He has 7 goals, but man, he'll miss the net on a wide open shot with the best of them. Gets a lot of those Michael Grabner goals. Just saying. And he's still not physical enough for my liking. AJ Piazza also adds, if Lane goes, Lou should also be gone. Absolutely.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. No doubt in my mind. If Lane goes, he should absolutely be gone as well.
Yeah.
Malkin's selling 10%. Yep, Michael Watts, we talked about it. It's not, here's the thing. Usually don't sell something if you think it's undervalued. You usually think if it's overvalued, you sell something. But we'll see what happens. I don't think it's not like it's a huge portion there. It's 10%. It's a minority portion there. So we'll see what happens over time.
Gungu says, would Coach Tommy B do just as good or perhaps a better job than Count Lambert? No.
Oh, come on. I'm going to say
no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He'd do an even better job than Count Lambert.
Next.
Oh, gosh.
Meatball Parm says, I will say this in Sorokin's defense. How many times do we have to see Mayfield flip the puck carelessly to the other team's defenseman on a clear attempt? Absolutely. They can't get out of their own zone. He's getting peppered with shots.
That's really the problem.
I mean, and high danger. It's not like, oh, it's from like the corner or it's from the blue line. These are primo scoring chances. He made so many saves, just rob guys. It's like, holy crap. How is it even possible?
Yeah. Okay. When you look at his save percentage is a 911. That's not great. It's not where he usually is around the 920s range. His goals against average is a 311. He's saving he's got a shit ton of shots he's facing night after night after night after night. What are we expecting from him? Frank, grumpy old man.
Grumpy old man, you got to admit, Engvall has played good. He's been okay.
He reminds me of Michael Grabner.
He's a third line guy. I'd feel much better about him if he was playing on third line. Let me just put it that way, because I think he's a pretty good third line player. Trying to elevate a guy who just does not have that skill set is a problem. He's had how many open opportunities to put the puck in that, and he just can't do it. He is what he is. He's a third line guy. Anyone trying to sell you anything different is just crazy. He's got 3 goals in 20. He's got 3 goals in 23 games. You play on a scoring line, 3 goals? Come on. That's not good. And he's had 1,000 chances. How many times you got to see the puck? He's got it just slide off the heel. It's all the time. John Santamaria says, who should be the captain? Matty B. Absolutely.
Engvall's young, grumpy. His contract may be okay.
He's going to be 35 when the contract's up?
He's like 26, 27 years old right now.
Again, you don't double down and give a guy like that a 7-year contract because he's easily replaced. He's just a guy.
Joseph C. said, we need another scorer as well. As much as I love how we're playing, they rely way too much on Panarin. No, you should be saying your team is near perfect. Could you imagine what the Islander fans would be saying if that was the case, Grumpy, if we had that many points? Yeah. And here's the thing. The Rangers definitely have areas where they need to improve to. All teams do. But the Rangers, I tell you one thing, a lot of young players getting production out of the Rangers too. I mean, think about it. They've been doing this. They had Aaron Fox on LTIR for 13, 14 games, and they've been without Filipino for almost 20 games.
Yeah.
He's been out since early, or maybe he's only been out for 15 games, but he's been out for a big portion of games there, Filipino. Could you imagine if we're okay, we're without the Pelech, and Pelech is not Dobson. Imagine us being without Dobson, yep. And imagine us being without Brock Nelson, or imagine us being without, maybe a Gabriel Pajot.
Nelson.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, think about not having Nelson and Dobson. Where would this team be?
Bad shape.
Bad shape. Not be because he's better than Hedl. So
absolutely, I think for our team, maybe it's like the Brock Nelson or the John Gabriel Pajot of our team.
Yeah.
To create offense, I mean, there. Hit the thumbs up. Congratulations, says Michael B. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Drew L. Grumpy old man.
TJ, look up Evan Rodriguez stats. A career middle 6 forwards who has shined in Florida's first line. Weird. It's like playing alongside an actual superstar in Barkov. Elevate your game. Yep. He's cooled off from where he was at the beginning of the year.
He still has 4 goals and 12 assists in 16 games.
Yeah, he's cooled off a little bit, though.
Okay.
I had him on my fantasy team, but he's cooled off a little bit.
As a 30-year-old, and people are going to say like, "Oh, this is reason why we think all of our players can do this." Pierre Engvall, Julien Gauthier. This is why they can do it. Look at Evan Rodriguez. You never know what you truly have in a guy. I can't tell you how many people were telling me, "Oh, you don't really know what you have in a guy. You don't know yet. You don't know what you have in him."
The
Jesus.
coaches know. The coaches of other teams know.
That's correct. I agree with you there, Grumpy. McClure's revenge.
I'd be excited about a rebuild. It would make me want to go to the game more. The hockey they're playing now can be unwatchable. Absolutely. I would just say the tenor of this podcast would do a 180 switch if they went into rebuild mode.
Yep. Drew L, grumpy old man.
Grumpy, off topic, but what's your thoughts on the Yankees continuing to buy and getting Soto and Verdugo? I don't know if the Soto trade went through yet. I think there's some holdup with medicals. Alex Verdugo, I don't know why they traded for him. He's a platoon guy, in my opinion. JP says, I hear Mike Keenan is raring to go. Mike Keenan, he's past his expiration date at this point in time. But that's the type of coach that this team needs. It is.
Jeez. Okay. Do you want to hear really quickly the teams that Varley has played? Okay. We need to stop this bullshit of Varley better than Sorokin right fucking now. Do you happen to know the teams he's played? Buffalo. He played against Columbus, the Washington Capitals twice, the miserable Minnesota Wild, the Seattle Kraken, the Ottawa Senators, and the Carolina Hurricanes. Washington has, what are they averaging? The least amount of goals per game, or pretty damn close to it.
Yeah, they're terrible. Here's the thing: what do all those teams have in common? They're all sub 500, except for Carolina.
Yep. All these teams are lower tier teams. A shutout against Columbus, a shutout against Washington.
And Washington, I think Washington has a 500 team also.
Look at this. Look at these, all this fantastic play. Look at the last 5 games. 871, 889, 906, 903, 907. Can I hear more and more about how fantastic Varlamov's been playing this year and how he's the better goalie than Sorokin? I'm just ready to hear it. I mean, like the numbers, okay. When you look at, you know what? Play Varlamov more throughout the season. Sorokin will have a higher save percentage and less goals against. I'm not sure, probably less goals against average than Varlamov too over that time. So we'll see. I guess we'll see. But look at the teams he's fucking played. Look at this shit.
Yeah. All lesser teams, right? Except for Carolina. I don't think most of those teams, Buffalo's not making playoffs. Columbus, no. Washington, maybe. Minnesota, doubtful. Washington again. Seattle, probably not. Ottawa, probably not.
Buffalo, think about this. Buffalo has played 26 games, has 22 points. We're looking here. The Senators have 20 points on 20 games, almost on average for 82 points this season. You look at Washington. Washington's only scored 52 goals this season. 22 games, have 26 points. Hey, we're ahead of Washington, though, Grumpy. 1 point ahead of Washington. I mean, like
Washington has 2 games in hand. So.
That's correct. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, they've got 27 games played, 21 points. That's pretty good. He's playing against all these squads. I'm expecting. I hope he's going to put up really good numbers. I hope Varley puts up great numbers. Look at the opponents that he's playing against. He's definitely getting the easier matchups. Come on, we can all agree on that, can't we?
Yeah.
That's what should happen. That's the backup. Right. He should get the easier matchups, so that should be happening. Christopher C. Grumpy.
TJ, you're against friendship, aren't you? Why? I wonder why.
I said we need an asshole.
Oh,
okay. Sometimes. What's up, Brandon? How are you, man? He says contracts don't mean shit to a coach. Lee making $7 million per year. He doesn't have to be out there against 5-on-6. Just because Mayfield's making $3.7 million per, though not as bad. He's clearly still hurt. Doesn't mean that Lane should be giving him 18 minutes per game and Riley only 12 minutes at home against San Jose.
Okay.
I don't think they really care too much, but like when you're paying a guy, some coaches don't give a shit about what they're getting paid. Some do though, right? We can agree on that. Like some guys are like, oh shit, he's being paid this. They're expecting this from him. Sometimes that happens. Oh, Michael Boucher, Grumpy.
We need to bring Bailey back. I won't even touch that one. Not even going to touch that
Bring
comment.
Bailey back, Grump.
It only took him 15 years to get rid of him. I don't want him back. Drew says, Grumpy's favorite pull, Bitchinette, live on TNT.
Paul Bitchinette, Grump. You love him, don't you?
Yeah, I love him. He's a jerk. Michael M says, Sprong always gets thrown around, TJ. 16 points in 24 games.
Oh, okay. Daniel Sprong, whatever his name is.
Drew says, TJ wants the Culdesac Crew to die. TJ, you want to kill humans? Shame on you.
No, okay. When I say die, I want them to disappear. I want them to die. I want the team, them to die as part of the team. I want all the cul-de-sac infected to go away. That disease to die on the team.
Brandon Gaines says Lane chose to give Gauthier only 9 minutes. Speed and defense are the primary ingredients to contend annually for the cup, and Lane has shown no consistency in deploying either, or ideally both. I mean, if you're going to
Gauthier is a guy who was a healthy scratch and a guy who barely made an impact there for the Rangers year in, year out. Didn't really do much for the Ottawa Senators. I mean, for us, he's the same. Are you expecting him to go like Hudson Fasching? As much as I like Hudson Fasching, where does Hudson Fasching cap out? Okay, bottom 6 guy.
Yeah.
Hudson Fasching, I thought, played really well last year. But guess what? Bottom 6er.
Yeah.
That's just what he is.
We're loaded with bottom 6 guys. The problem is we don't have top 6 guys.
No, if you ask some of the guys, they say we're loaded with top 6, and hey, we're loaded with the top 6 guys, Grump.
I disagree with that.
Frank
says Brock Nelson has 11 games, 11 goals. TJ, yeah, baby.
I like Brock Nelson. Oh, okay. Michael M says here 39 shots for the Sharks.
The Sharks.
TJ.
Going shocking.
Michael M says here. Oh. Speaking of Sharks, somebody sent this to me and I told him I was going to play it. And I totally forgot about this. So I'm glad we're talking about Sharks over here, Grumpy.
We've been talking about the Sharks all night.
They've been talking. Now, Jeff, I think, sent this to me here. It's a meme that was made about Jaws, Grumpy old man. Your favorite, Jaws.
Very good movie. Scared the life out of me when I saw it in the drive-in.
Thank you, Jeff, for sending this to me. This was done by Will. I talk to Will every once in a while on the open, I guess the airwaves, the Twitter sphere here for the Islanders. But let's listen to this here. Oh, shit.
The little breathing tank clips. Oh my goodness, he's done by now. Okay. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Robert Shaw is going to get it now. Oh, Quint. One more big squish. Hear the crunch now. Oh, he got him with the crunch. Oh my goodness. All right, that's it.
I was hoping we get to see what's going to lead us to the promised land, but I guess not. Not in that clip, Grumpy old man. Oh, goodness. I like that. You like that one, Grump?
Yeah, it was cute. I like it.
I like it. Thanks, Will. That was a good one, buddy. And thanks for sending that there to us. Okay, and that doesn't apply to every player. Most of these guys want to win.
I think the guys want
a little bit.
Don't take it out of context. I'm not saying they don't want to win, but I don't think it's what drives them. Let me just put it to you that way.
The driving. Okay, when players are hungry, they're willing to. I was going to say something uncouth. They're willing to do anything it takes to win. They're willing to sacrifice their body. They're willing to bust their ass over here. They're willing to be like, holy shit, I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked before. I'm going to be like a dog on a bone out there. That's how bad I want to win. I'm going to beat them to every single loose puck because I'm not going to get beaten. I'm going to take pride when we're in the face-off. I'm going to take pride when we're in the corners. I'm not going to lose a single board battle because I want to win that much more. We don't have any of that on this team. We just don't.
Couple players.
On a resounding, on overall, we don't have a lot of that on this team. Let me rephrase it. We don't have a lot of that on this team. Is that better to say?
And here's the thing. Like I said, it's not that the guys don't want to win. Okay, of course they want to win.
They don't want to win as much as some other guys out there.
That's right.
Like that.
How many Matthew Kachucks do we have on this team?
one, maybe Bampers.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
That's about it. But that's why guys like that are culture changers. When your lead guy, Anders Lee, and that laissez-faire attitude that he seems to have, the captain leads by example. That's why he should have been stripped of the sea long ago.
Brandon Gaines here, Grump.
Don't want to hear anything about personnel issues when Trotz took over an objectively worse roster and goaltender tandem and won the team the Jennings Trophy in 2018. We had talent. We had talent. But we needed structure. And Barry Trotz brought that structure.
Here's the point. That year, and I think earlier, I mentioned this earlier in the show, and I'll mention it again in case you weren't here or in case it didn't make a big enough point of it. I think when Barry Trotz first took over, it was us against the world. Every single player on this team was united to prove every single person wrong that just had treated the Islanders as a laughing stock. And Barry Trotz was a good catalyst to galvanize that movement. He was fantastic head coach to do that. Oh, they're going to be awful without Matt Bar. They're going to be awful without John Tavares. That's a bad team. They were all wearing the sweatshirts. Us against the world. Us against everyone. And that is what was that was the mantra of the Islanders. That was the revenge to motivate them. That shit only lasts for so long. Revenge is a hell of a motivator. But eventually you hit to a point where revenge has been accomplished. And then you've got to find this to motivate you. I'm not sure I see as much of that now.
Tom Brady. Think about it. Everyone towed the line when he was there because no one worked harder than him. That's the type of leader we need in our locker room. That's the type of guy we need. Lawrence Taylor. Guys like that.
Mark A says the Islanders will win 3 in a row. Sokin has not been good.
They're not going to win 3 in a row. They're going to lose to the Kings. Absolutely. We want to pull up the rest of our homestand. I think it's Columbus, the Kings. I know Boston is in there somewhere. We're not winning those games unless they all play AHL goalies. Maybe it's like, hey, bring a goalie to work day or something like that, and they throw him in net against the Islanders because they're no threat to score. Like bring your kid to work day, bring a goalie to work day, some guy off the street.
Hold on, I'll pull up here. Give me one sec, Grumpy. I'll pull up the Islanders schedule here.
Yeah, because we have last night was the first of a 6-game homestand. We're going to be playing a lot of road games second half of the year. I can tell you that much.
Better hope we've built up a good cushion. That's all I'm going to say here. We got the Blue Jackets. That should be a win, right? At home, Blue Jackets at home win.
Kings is a loss.
Good. Toronto's pretty good.
Loss.
The Ducks.
Maybe they beat the Ducks.
Maybe we beat the Kings.
We're not beating the Kings.
The Bruins. Ugh.
That's a loss. We might win 2 of the next 5.
Oof. Could you imagine how bad that would be?
Well, we don't beat good teams unless they shit the bed and play backups.
Then we got either the Canadians.
Should be a win. Oilers going to be a loss.
You think so?
They've righted the ship.
They're
Capitals,
killing Carolina.
That's 50-50. They're losing to Carolina. Carolina won't make that mistake again. I guarantee you that.
Let them know, Grumpy. What are they not going to do?
And they're not going to play the AHL goalie against the Islanders this time.
Then they got the Penguins.
Then the Penguins, Capitals, Penguins, and that's the end of the year.
The Avalanche, a bad team against the Coyotes, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Canucks, and the Maple Leafs.
Do you realize?
Here's your season.
Do you realize that Arizona is 13-9-2?
What?
Yes.
Really?
13-9-2. Yes.
Holy shit. Okay. When you talk about when does the schedule get tough here, look at this point. I'll be honest. Schedule's about to pick up. Schedule's about to be tough. After this Columbus game, schedule gets tough, guys. You've got here, think about this. Kings, good team. Maple Leafs, good team.
Do you realize what the Kings record is?
What's the Kings record, Grump?
15-4-3.
Jesus Christ.
15-4-3. Think about that. And here's the thing. They're 10-0 on the road. They're 10-0 on the road.
Oh, no.
10-0 on the road. Not even a loser. 10-0. 10-0 on the road. That's a loss. That's an absolute loss.
Man. You got, Kings, very good. Toronto, I'd say very good.
Yeah.
Bruins, very good. Oilers, very highly offensively talented team.
They've righted the ship. The
Capitals twice. Penguins twice.
The Edmonton is 7-3 in their last 10 games. So they've righted the ship.
Yeah. I think the Penguins and Carolina are both going to be those are going to be four very tough games, I think. And then mixed in with that, you've got the Hurricanes, who we don't usually beat. We've got the Avalanche, the Coyotes, who apparently are playing well, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Canucks, and then the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
By January 11th, this season could be over, depending on how things go. This is a very tough, or Lane Lambert could be fired by that point.
Yeah.
Yikes, man, absolutely yikes. Frank, grumpy old man.
Lou signing Mayfield for 7 years was the worst deal. Him trading Taves alone was a fireable expense. Imagine Taves and Dobson on the same team. Yeah, but they determined that they wanted to keep Nicoletti instead. Well, shit. Like I said, just being short-sighted. I just want to let everyone know Juan Soto has been traded to the New York Yankees. Big move for the Yankees today. And I'm sure we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yes, we will here. Dart MP Grumpy.
Lane may as well be a hard ass because they are not responding. This team needs conditioning and ass busting practices, basic drills, rinse and repeat. The effort will come when the team gets sick of training camp day after day.
Mark A says, TJ, this will be a father. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Moose Jaw Sasquatch Grumpy.
TJ, a few shows ago, you asked if Matt Barzal would ever live up to his contract. I doubt he plays it out. I believe he will ask to be traded within the next 2 years. He's already 27, and I wouldn't blame him. Those contracts are hard to move.
Yeah. It's going to have to be later on in his deal. I think that realistically, I think the earliest that guy could be traded, Matt Barzal, is probably when it's like, I'm saying like 3 years left on his contract, maybe 2. And the reason why is like, if it's 2, it's like we can eat the cap. I don't know if we're going to be a contender by that point, or if we're going to be in full rebuild, or what the deal is at that point. But it's man, it's going to be a while. I'll be interested to see. I'm not sure we'll see. We'll see at this point. Things are only going to get worse before they get better is the unfortunate portion.
True.
Joseph C. Grump.
Yeah, Galan is not a hard ass. Cost him his job here. Same thing in Carolina.
Yep. Congratulations. Thanks, TJ Ferenci. Thank you for the congratulations, TJ. And X, I sent you something to end off the podcast. Okay, look at that real quick. Brandon Gaines, Grumpy.
Am I not a fan of Trotz's lineup combos neither, but at least there was a sense of consistent structure, no left-wing lock, no proper hybrid man D, no button-up D, and on third period, it's all gone.
Oh, God, hold on a second. Oh, this is a great one. This is Jesus. This is a good one here. This is sent by Drew L. Look at this shit. Oh, it says, Phil, when he sees the Islanders destroy his narratives in real time, look how big Grumpy's fucking eyes are.
Yeah. It's the truth.
That's a good freeze frame. It's
the truth. It's the truth. That's why whenever I talk to Phil, I school him. He gets schooled.
Oh, no. Okay.
My reaction is seeing the Islanders schedule after they play Columbus.
Well, we're fucked.
Wow.
Yeah. It's I'll be honest, it gets really tough, really hard. You're going to find out what this team is made of. Can't be coming away with freaking loser points all those games, I'll tell you that much. Brandon Jennings, Grump.
This team is not worth watching. I'm more entertained by you guys than the on-the-ice product.
Yeah, we'll be as entertaining as we can there.
Kochetkov, by the way, for anyone who thinks Sorokin is responsible, how would you like to have what Carolina has right now between the pipes? Absolutely. They're spoiled.
How bad that would be.
Yeah, they expect Sorokin to have like a 980 save percent. TJ Florent says, imagine John Tortorella coaching this team. Absolutely.
This fucking team.
Islanders might catch Carolina. They won't. Absolutely.
No way.
Brownie says, if the Islanders keep playing like this, at what point do you believe it's time to give the AHL players a chance in the big leagues? It's not what we have nobody down there who's worth anything. That's the problem. We have nobody in the minor league system. Matthew West says, Brandon Gaines, roster construction, Mayfield, Aho when he's playing.
Yeah. Aho stinks, says Coach Tommy B. Quinny Rivera says, bro, did you guys hear that the fucking broadcast Butch and Brennan actually talking about how the game was unlosable when it was
when it was 8 minutes left? I did not hear that. I was watching San Antonio's.
I was watching San Jose's too.
San Jose's field. Yeah.
Damn. I wish Peter Kochetkov was on the Islanders. Imagine Lou being fired. Oh God. Yeah.
Again, no one is saying Sorokin is primarily responsible. The issue is you're paying $8+ million for a goalie to replicate what he did for the bulk of last year, and he ain't doing so right now.
He's not getting paid $8 million this year, or is he? It was this year. I'm sorry, he's getting paid $8 million. Okay, he's never going to be to expect him to replicate. Okay, if you were expecting to replicate that last year, he was the best goalie in the NHL. You would be paying him more than any other goalie in the NHL. You're not expecting him to replicate that every year in a year. It's just it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
But like, could he? I think he can have seasons absolutely where he does that. But if he was playing like the best goalie, he should be making $10+ million a year. He's making $8 million a year. It's like 5th or 6th most for goalies.
Anders Lee's getting paid $7 million a year. He has 8 points in 24 games.
But hey, we're not hearing a lot of fingers being pointed at Anders Lee. All we hear is, man, if Sorokin was doing better, we'd be winning games. Why don't we hear if Anders Lee was pulling his fucking weight, we'd be winning games too?
If Ilya Sorokin does not stand on his head, we lose. That tells you how bad the roster is. He has to be the best player on the ice for the Islanders to win. Just the way it is.
Is the next comment up there, Grumpy?
There's no comment up there. Louis C says, Grumpy makes the show. It's a great name. Thank you.
It is. It was a great decision you made so many years ago there, Grumpy. You go, Nick D.
TJ, congratulations on getting one past the 5-hole. Good stuff. Hey, Pachekov let the numerous ones do the 5-hole on him.
Oh, God. Jeez. Thank you, Nick D here. Matthew
says, but we're giving up over 30 shots a game, function of a terrible defense because it's awful on its face, regardless of the coach. Yeah, just terrible. Hemorrhaging scoring opportunities.
Getting outshot, outpossessed. It's just not fun to watch either. That's why we do it.
If Pacheco was our goalie, we'd be giving up 7-8 goals every single game. Drew says, I still find it nuts that Kochetkov actually played like a future star goalie in the playoffs when he filled in for Frederik Andersen and Ranta. Akira Smid and him are no different. Yeah, they all suck.
Mark A says here the Islanders in second place in a week.
I'm not saying yes to that.
Hold on. Like, you look at the schedule, does that scream second place? It doesn't for me, at least. I mean, like, we're gonna have a tough portion of the schedule coming up. I mean, like, we're gonna be playing against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do we beat Toronto, you think?
No. No. Absolutely not.
Man, I tell you. Do you think we beat the Kings?
No. Nope. Not beating Boston. Maybe. Oh, I think maybe we'll beat Anaheim. It should be 3-3 on this homestand. Once again, Uncle X.
God. Oh no, David Sean McDonald Grump.
Was anyone surprised we blew it again last night? Now it's a sin to blow 3-goal leads. Well, that's what Lane said.
We can end it on listening to him real quick. We'll end it on listening because we're in the process here. My God, we're in the process of wrapping. My God, I you know what? When we're just shitting on the Islanders, it's like time flies by because you can never stop. There's a million things you could have 24/7, 360. There's never enough time to talk about all the issues. This is Lane after the game.
We had the game under control with 8.5 minutes left. To lose that hockey game is sin. We had
at least you know what? Good for him. Good for him. At least he comes out and says that shit.
Yeah.
Yikes, man. It's sin. Exactly right. It is absolutely sin. It just is. Am I missing something? Did somebody produce a small human? Yes, David Sean McDonald. I'll be out there in February. I'll be spending some time away from the show. We'll have a child on the way there. We will. Let me put this up here. So speaking about how bad Sorokin's been playing this year, let's just pull up his numbers. We'll zoom in for us so we can all get a good view of this here. Aiden Hill has the highest save percentage in the NHL. He's only played, oh shit, man, I went way too far. But he's played 14 games on the season. He's got a .935 save percentage. You've got here Jeremy Swayman. As I've always said, better backup option than Varlamov. Look at that. Swayman, .932. Connor Ingram for Arizona. My gosh. 6. So like 8 games. Haven't even played 10 games. But I guess you could still give it to them, right? They have higher save percentages, even when you're counting in guys who've played like not even double-digit games. Whereas Sorokin, oh, wow. Right next to, wow, Shesterkin is such a shitty goalie. Shesterkin is awful. Oh, my God. I can't believe they're okay with Shesterkin being a net. You know what? Shesterkin's the reason why they're so bad. Oh, wait a second. They're winning games. And Shesterkin has a .911 save percentage. Grumpy, how is that possible? How are the Rangers winning games when Shesterkin, their starting goalie, who's going to get paid buku money going forward, has a .911? How is this possible, Grump?
They were able to put the puck in the net.
Oh,
they were able to score.
Isn't that crazy? It's a novel idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I'm telling you. You look at the names that are around him there. I mean, like Job Gibbs is not bad there. Georgiev, Georgiev blows. I mean, he looked terrible against us. My God, Mark's is bad. Look at Frederick Anderson, Grumpy. I mean, he's only played 6 games this year, Freddie Anderson.
Yeah, he's hurt. But they'll love to get him back. That's for certain.
Sure. Oh, look, there's our boy. Check out Grump. 81.
48.
Oh my God.
48. He blows.
So, like, here's the thing. Okay, he's .001 behind Connor Hedelbuck and behind Bobrovsky. Carter Hart at a .913. Guess what? Jake Ottinger. Are you thinking in Dallas they're like, fucking Jake Ottinger, he's playing like such shit. We're so bad. Linus Olmark is playing so. They're all around the 911s, nine between the 910s area. Okay. Ottinger has .004% more save percentage than Sorokin. Do you think the Dallas fans are saying, oh man, Ottinger's really not helping us win games? He needs to do a lot better. Ottinger's not playing good enough. I mean, please wake up and smell the coffee. Watch some other teams play once. I'm telling you, please, just once, and look and do a little bit of digging as to who Varlamov has played so far this season. You'll come across the same conclusion we do. But let's wrap this thing up here, Grumpy. Hold on, one more. This is a good comment to end on. This is from Swamp Box, Grumpy.
Will I fire Lambert? Nope.
That's always a good one on Beaky the Buzzard. We'll end it. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching the show. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for the comments. Grumpy, what do you want to say before we wrap things up here today?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't. From TJ, the grumpy old man, and behind the scenes, Son X.
And X he's already bounced. He's sick today, but he's already bounced. Thanks so much, X, for being a trooper. Thank you for being a part of the show, grumpy old man, as always. Thank you so much, everybody, for commenting in. Man, what another day. Thank you so much, though. Let's go Islanders. I guess maybe we got
a big win tomorrow night against Columbus. Let's go.
I was about to say that's almost a must-win game, isn't it?
It is a
must-win. The schedule that's coming up, must-win for us.
Can't lose to bad teams.
Thank you so much, though, everybody, for watching. Thank you so much, grumpy old man.
My pleasure.